It's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air.
Today's talk show for your morning drive.
If you are the Phillies management, you're Dave Dombrowski, are you going all in? And by all in, you're going to be giving up some top guys.
I do believe I know that this team cannot put together 5 to 6 weeks of great baseball. Nope. As currently constituted.
Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Still learning the new open. Good Thursday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man, John Kincade. And what a day yesterday was, John. The big bombshell, well-written story of Joel Embiid on ESPN.com. We were talking about it before the show started. There was some stuff that we already know from our work, right? We do this every single day. We know a lot of the story of Joel Embiid since the time he got drafted. But this story goes back to his childhood. This story goes back to his college days, the beginning of the career, and then, of course, maybe most importantly, the here and now and all the drama that is surrounding the Philadelphia 76ers, as we know all too well. But it was a incredible story that was long.
It was long.
A lot to it, man. I mean, I'll be honest, I reread it yesterday because I didn't want to miss anything coming into the show today. If people have not read it yet, first off, make sure you have time because this is not a quick read. Make sure if you're drinking your morning coffee or about to sit down for breakfast, make sure you have time to actually get through all of it because there's a lot to it. It's on ESPN.com. It's tremendous. The author I have not heard of until yesterday. Dotan Akintoye. Not sure his background, but man, did he make a name for himself yesterday with this story. So we have a lot of things that we're going to unpack because there are a lot of things to unpack. But first and foremost, I want to go around the room and just sort of ask if this story moved you at all. And I know when it comes to Joel Embiid, I feel about Joel Embiid a lot differently than you do, John. I think everybody, when it comes to Joel Embiid, has a different sort of opinion or feeling. When you were out 2 weeks ago, Connor and I got into a discussion of the polarizing figures in Philadelphia right now. And there really aren't many, but Joel Embiid is one of those guys where I could turn on a microphone and talk about for 4 hours. We said that it was Embiid, Jalen, Harper, and Nola, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the four names that we thought of because there are some people on the defending side, some people on the anti side, and there's really no middle ground, it seems like, with those players.
I would tell you if you find Jalen and Harper as polarizing figures, I'd really not prefer to talk sports with you. Myself.
You don't think Jalen Hurts has the
But if Jalen Hurts is
two sides of the coin?
But if you put Jalen Hurts into a polarizing figure category, then for God's sakes, I'm looking at you with glazed over like, okay, you're not really a sportsman. Like if you definitely don't think Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing going, or if you're one of the people who thinks Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing on earth or Jalen Hurts sucks, I don't really think either one of you has a valid opinion. I think it's somewhere in the middle.
But that's how it goes.
But polarizing to me is where you go, somebody has negative, is bringing negatives to the table.
Yeah, people do that on Hurts all the time.
People find negatives with Hurts, John. You and I are very few people in this world that live by the middle. Everybody, if politics, sports, you name it, it's the extreme side, it's the extreme other.
Well, the funny thing is that I just like to live in the world of facts, which makes it very, as Connor would say, it's very easy for him sometimes, and Connor and I will communicate. He's like, okay, John, he's got to give me something where it's just, okay, John, understand it this way, black and white. It's black and white. Like, to me, I don't find those guys polarizing because Hurts is great, Harper's great. Embiid.
You just talked about how Harper hasn't come up clutch in the last 7 important games, though.
No,
right? We just had that discussion earlier this week.
But you're then taking it out of context. You're not bringing up the fact that I also celebrate all the times that he has come up.
Right, but there are things to not celebrate. And that's what makes him so polarizing because he's the big name of the Phillies that have been a team that have controlled.
But Embiid has never had Harper moments or Hurts moments.
That's incorrect.
No, he hasn't. In big moments. We've never had big moments with Embiid.
The Knicks series was big moment after big moment.
It was
with
first round.
Joel
It's a
Embiid.
first round series, and it was a big moment, and we went home losers.
Second round series. Right?
No, it was a first round series.
No, they were in the play-in, so it was
That's
first
right.
round.
That's
the first round series.
That's right. The Heat
And we
was
lost.
The Batum game. No, never
That's
forget
right.
the
No,
Nico
that's
Batum
right.
But I
game.
mean, that's off in there. It's more important is, did the story move me? Yeah, it moves me. Look, I put it this way. You went back and reread it.
Yes.
The way I did it was I just took notes.
Okay.
When I read it, I clipped and stuff and took notes and everything. And I did it move me? Sure. People live very lives that are filled with hardship.
Mm-hmm.
People live lives that are filled with adversity. I think I know it. I think Embiid knows it. I think everybody in our listening audience knows it. Yes, there wasn't anything like I heard other people say like bombshell story. I knew almost every single part of that story, almost every part of it. So it didn't move me there. I feel sorry for the things of Joel Embiid's life that he couldn't control.
Right.
But I feel sorry for everybody in life has to deal with things that they can't control. And I expect them to just handle them. That's me. I just expect them to handle them.
But that's you.
Yeah. And I say, what do I always say? I say, suck it up, buttercup, pull your big boy pants on, deal with it. And we all deal with tragedy. We all deal with things in life. It's horrible. It's horrible. What Joel Embiid has dealt with, I feel in great compassion for. The brother thing is awful.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I love my brother. I'm glad that at my age I have my brother.
Right.
That's a horrible thing. There are tragedies and adversities and everything that everybody in our listening audience deals with every day. And so, yeah, it's horrible. I feel for people with that. But I'm interested in Joel Embiid, the athlete. Joel Embiid, the story of the athlete. But yeah, I mean, it moved me in some ways.
So you're not interested to get behind the curtain a little bit more on any athlete. Forget Joel Embiid for a second, because I'm always interested in the behind the curtain of the life of the athlete.
I sort of looked at it though as two entities. I definitely feel. First of all, I felt that was much differently than you did. So I think that was a PR piece. I think that was written very much as a PR piece.
Could have been.
And I think it was. But I mean, that's how I feel. I think that was a piece written very much. It was all written one way. It was written without.
No, because there were moments in the story where there was the admitting of the poor work ethic early on, the poor diet, and all that kind of stuff. And that's stuff that's been reported, but we've never sort of heard it from the source. The admitting of. Yeah, when I first came into the league, I had very, very bad habits, which we have ripped him for.
Sure.
And again, you know how I feel about Joel Embiid. I love the guy, but you also know that anybody that comes to the table with something negative about Embiid, I don't blame anyone for having. The only one that I disagree with is the soft thing because he plays through. And I think injuries left and right.
And that's something too, where you hear some of the adversity stuff. And that's where I think people don't judge soft correctly. That overcoming adversity and tragedies and things in your life, that's a big judge of your softness and toughness. And I would say soft should never be attached to Joel Embiid.
And that's the only one.
And I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about his whole makeup.
Right, exactly.
It should never be attached to
So, like, today, I want to know, and Connor, I'll ask you, did the story move you in any sort of way?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, you get a look at a very conflicted, difficult path for a player that's been in the public eye for a while and has had a lot put on his shoulders. And some of it's him, and some of it's the organization, and some of it's just universe stuff that you can't control. But he's a tragic figure in Philadelphia sports. I think the article did a really, really good job of highlighting how he's turned into that and where we're at right now.
I think his team picked the writer.
Probably.
I think his team wanted a piece written. Now I wonder why.
Now here's the thing. This is probably the most open he's been in any of these sort of stories. And that's why I thought the story was really well written.
Sure.
So here's what I want to know from the people today. It's 610-632-0975. Whether or not the story moved you at all, one way or another. And if you're somebody who's like, I don't care, I'm anti-Embiid, I don't blame anyone at this point, John. As you know.
You're very good. You're very good about that.
The only thing I push back on is, like, he's soft. Like, if you come to the table with he's soft, then you're out.
Like, well, I can't take the soft.
Right, like,
we're in agreement on that.
Like, that's the one where I go, man, then you're just an ass if you're going to go he's soft. But your reaction to this story from Joel Embiid, there's a lot to it, and I know that not everybody sat through and read it. So what we'll do throughout the course of the show is kind of unpack a different piece of this story because there is a lot to it. So coming up next, how much did the subject of the story matter when it came to your reaction? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
The All-Star Game is presenting a product to the fans.
And I get it. If he doesn't want to pitch the All-Star Game,
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Big story yesterday on ESPN.com following the life of Joel Embiid and where we're at today. And we're going to try to focus majority on the here and now from the story because we've known a lot of the stories. The tragic passing of his brother when he first came to the NBA, the injuries for the first 2 years. Obviously, there was many injuries, but that kept him out of the league. But the here and now is a lot of the stuff that we're going to focus on because there was a lot. The team meeting in November that got leaked out, the injuries last year, the not being on the same page, team and player, because of the injury that was sustained last season. The Olympics were brought up in this story. That was one of the things. When you mention a PR story, John.
That was a PR piece.
I don't disagree with you.
I asked two executives that I know read the piece. One who is a baseball executive who's a huge Embiid fan, maybe bigger than you.
How about that? That's impressive.
Big Embiid fan. And then I asked a certain athlete who's really, really tall to read it. He goes,
yeah.
That's put out by that's somebody's company saying, write this piece for us.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, it's written with agenda. I'm trying to figure out what the agenda was. But it was a great read.
It was a great read.
That was a great read. But as I'm reading it, I'm going, from the minute I'm reading it, I'm going, okay, this is really a one-sided read.
Right, and I think there's strategy and agenda behind it, which I'll get to later on. But one of the things that really spewed PR story was the Olympics part.
Yes.
Where they kind of glossed over the fact that he was recovering from an injury, and they mentioned that he was not himself during the Olympics, but then it was...
Oh, he got sick.
The sick thing, but
yes.
They were talking about the knee as well, but Grant Hill and company were like, we needed him. He's the big reason why we won. Remember the big moment in the Serbia battle,
right.
which Joel Embiid was a big reason why they won, but they kind of moved on past he was hurt playing in this.
Yeah, they just glossed over that. I wonder why.
I wonder
why, because his camp had that story written.
So let me ask you, how much did the subject, and the subject is Joel Embiid, matter when it came to your reaction? Because this is a story where we're hearing about hardships and struggles, but obviously we know everything about, well, not everything about this guy. We know a lot about this guy with his own wrongdoings. As Connor said, there's just some cosmic things that happen that he had no control over. Because I know there is Joel Embiid fatigue in this city. Like for me,
and you accept that there should be.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. It's been 10 years of this. Like
Correct.
I know it, man.
You understand it.
Trust me, I live it.
No, but I think it's really cool because it's one of the things I respect about having this conversation with you is the fact that you are somebody who is a huge fan of his.
Yes.
But you also accept the fact that you understand completely why people have that fatigue. You understand it and you accept it.
Yeah. And plus we would just watch the finals where it was guard driven, right? Like
Correct.
and wing driven. And
Correct.
Even from just a basketball standpoint, I understand it. But when it's Joel Embiid, I know there is fatigue. So I wonder how many people saw this story and they said, okay, there's a story out on Embiid.
There was so much stuff glossed over to me. And that's when I finished reading it, I said, damn, I feel for Joel on the personal stuff.
And there is a lot of it.
And I do. I feel for that. But I also am one of those guys who just, and it is me, who says, and I suck it up, buttercup. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with life. You got to deal with all the crap in life.
And John, you do that.
Right.
I do that.
And I hold myself to that standard, and I hold others to that standard.
But I can't because I know people very close to me that can't go through life the way you go.
And my daughter gives me grief all the time about it. She goes, Dad.
Yeah, there's some people.
She goes, Dad, you just think you're you just can't say that, or you can't put. Look, and I'm like, look, I can answer you honestly, or I can answer you the way I feel.
Right, the way you feel, right.
Or I can answer you. I said, you don't have to think the way I do.
Right.
That's the beauty of life, honey. And I'll tell my daughter, that's the beauty of life. But I'm going to, if you ask me the question, or you say to me, what do I think?
Right.
I'm going to tell you how I think.
But then, based off of my experiences, like his dog passing away and what that did to him, I know how that impacted somebody close in my life in a much worse way. So like I feel for him when I read this story, but it's also who we've been around in our lives, John. It's
right, exactly.
How we see life. It's how we experience it. But I'm
correct.
In terms of me personally, I'm more like you. where I just keep going.
Right, you gotta it's really interesting.
But there's some people that can't, and so that's why I want to know.
And I think that's what we're going to get today is a range of emotions from people on text and otherwise.
Absolutely. So text in 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, before we get to the text line, what was our biggest takeaway from the story? I want to go around the room. I have one on Embiid that I love, but then I have one on the relationship with the Sixers that I don't love. We'll discuss all of ours next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One more day in the break. I'm Connor Thomas, and with the MLB All-Star Game over, the Phillies continued their rest last night during the All-Star break. They'll take on the Angels tomorrow night in South Philly to start their schedule back up. It'll be Jesus Luzardo taking the ball for the first game back in the second half of the schedule. The Sixers took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play. VJ Edgecombe did not play after returning to the court the previous night from his thumb sprain. It was due to rest. Sixers still being cautious with that injury. Union took down CF Montreal 2-1 last night. They're in first in the Eastern Conference right now in the MLS, and the Eagles are drawing closer to training camp. We talked to Adam Schefter yesterday, and he talked about the training camp strategy of the Eagles in past years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
So Shefty believes if it's business as usual for the Eagles, that's a good thing. We'll talk to Andrew DeCecco coming up from the 8 o'clock hour on. He'll join us for 2 hours today. Latest on the Birds. This update's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Fanatic on this Wendy's Thursday morning. So we have a new contest line.
What?
Yes, we do.
Wait a minute.
So I'm going to say this slowly, all right?
Okay.
Because even I need to get used to it. After working here for 11 years, 215-263-0975
No.
it flows off the tongue. But
Right.
that's not the number. 610
Okay, write it down. Or just think it in your head. 610
206
206
0975. So we still have the 610 and the 0975, but the middle three numbers are the 206. So let's test it out. 610-206-0975. I'm going to make this easy. Caller number 1 will win our first of our 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards on this Wendy's Thursday. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. That's what I call Johnny when I first walk in. Got to be Wendy's, limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in the combo while supplies last. Caller 1 to 610-206-0975. Got that, Honey Buddy?
Got it, buddy.
All right.
Honey.
So around the room, what was your biggest takeaway from this story? Now, I have one positive with Embiid and then one negative when it comes to the relationship with the organization. I'll just start with the positive for Embiid. You know that I am pro mental health. We talked about it last segment.
You are.
Even though
nobody's negative.
Right. Exactly. Even though
negative mental health.
Even though I am more like you when it comes to the just keep going, life gives you crap, you turn into something else, right?
Correct.
We talked about during the break when my tire explodes on Monday.
It did.
I could have freaked out, gotten angry. Why does this keep happening to me? Instead, my reaction was, man, I'm glad this didn't happen yesterday on the George Washington Bridge driving home with my wife and kid. That's how I handle it.
And it could have been dangerous. There could have been time when it was more dangerous.
Would have had a better view.
But
no.
No, not really.
Not with all those lanes of traffic.
No, I don't want that. So I'm pro when somebody feels the need to seek help that they do.
Right.
I know it's been reported in the past that Joel Embiid may have been seeking mental health, help. It's been confirmed in this story. He has confirmed it in the story that he has been seeking, a mental health professional since last season. And remember we
both admire that.
Yes. And remember when he got hurt against the Warriors 2 seasons ago, you remember my first reaction. My first reaction was not, damn, this sucks for the Sixers because he was playing well. My first thought was, how does this guy keep doing this?
I remember that.
That was my immediate reaction was, man, when does he say enough is enough? I can't do this
You remember
anymore.
what my answer was to you, correct? Do you remember that day?
No,
We're talking about that?
I don't, actually.
My answer was, it's that contract that he signed.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's the commitment that he made.
And that's where
That's what it is.
We
it
all
means,
see
it means that
life
you go. It
differently.
means that you go back to work. It means that you rehab. It means that you honor the contract you signed.
Gotcha.
That's what you made the commitment. You said for the next certain amount of years.
Yeah.
And for this kind of exorbitant amount of money, I will buckle up my chin strap and I will get back to work.
Right. But then there's also that
Or I can walk away and say I don't want any. I don't want any of the money.
Right. Exactly.
You can do that too. You have that option.
So I'm just happy that it's known that he is seeing help because going through everything that he's gone through physically and then also the life, if he needs help and he's seeking help, I think that's great.
I do too. You got moved though. You got moved by this piece, and to me, this is absolutely a PR piece. This was absolutely a piece orchestrated by his camp.
Okay.
I still, as I put it down and I wrote down all my notes and everything, I'm going, why? This was written with agenda. Why? Because this isn't written by, if this was written by a NBA reporter, this would not be it's one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very positive, I don't want to use the word cuddly, but fluffy piece for Joel Embiid?
Well, then you ask why. I think there's multiple whys.
Because he was given access. This writer was given access.
Oh, yeah, they
A
were
writer
at his house.
Right.
He was,
exactly.
They sat
he was
down
granted
in
the access.
in the piano room.
And this is you're writing a piece on Joel. This is what the piece we want written. Now write it. It wasn't written as this isn't a piece of objective journalism.
Well, I think so. If you're asking why, I think one of the whys is this, and this is where I'll lead to the not so great takeaway, is the disconnect that he has had clearly with this organization a couple of times. A lot of it, him to be blamed for, right? We've talked about this, the bad work ethic early on in his career, like that. He is to blame, and it's been admitted. He admits it in the story, kind of.
But does he?
Kind of.
I don't believe he does.
I think the author sort of added it in
no,
without the quotes.
The author does.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, quote, they're still talking about that old stuff." So don't say that he took responsibility. He says, "Oh, quote, they're still talking about that old stuff." So in other words, he thinks that stuff shouldn't be part of the story.
Right.
In other words, this fluff piece you're putting together, don't put if you're going to write this fluff piece, they're still bringing up that stuff.
But he's also not denying that stuff.
But he doesn't want it brought up.
Right, but he's not denying is the point that I'm making.
They're still talking about that old stuff? Come on now.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you can't write the story of someone's life and say, well, I'm going to leave out the part.
The negative stuff.
You know, this is what I want to bring up. Oh, yeah, but don't bring up that.
Right.
Don't bring up that moment. You got to bring it up at all. And you know what? It's all part of a great story of Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. Joel Embiid has a great story to tell. And there's negative aspects of it.
Absolutely,
Own it.
Now,
don't cover it up.
Now, the big one for me, this was the one that stood out the most. I know a lot of people made a lot of the locker room thing, which we'll get into later on the show.
Sure.
I'll just read this part from the story. And it was about last year. The uncertainty about his knee reignited old tensions between Embiid and the Sixers front office. After months of uncertainty, false starts, and recurrent swelling, Embiid couldn't take it anymore. In February, before a loss to the Milwaukee Bucks, Embiid told ESPN's Lisa Salters that he would need another surgery, which reportedly surprised the organization. Morey acknowledged that surprise in our meeting. Quote from Embiid, "If you don't want to listen to me, then I have to find something else to make sure that I'm going to be listened to. When I told Lisa that, I think it was a cry for help. It feels like everybody refuses to acknowledge what's actually going on." That's not good.
Okay.
That they had that disconnect. And remember, we reacted to it when Shams first reported it, that Embiid and his camp thought there was a surgery that was needed, and the Sixers and the team doctors believed that there wasn't. And then ultimately he gets the surgery.
And that's you bring up a great point there on that. That points to that disconnect. But they totally gloss over the disconnect of the summer before.
With the Olympics.
What did the Sixers think about the Olympics?
They didn't want him to play.
What did Joel Embiid's camp do last summer?
They played.
So how did Joel Embiid's camp create the situation that created the knee issue, that exasperated the knee issue, that he then is blaming the Sixers front office for? Chicken and the egg, folks. Like, to me, I'm reading that, and I'm like, okay, if a writer was doing a real story, first of all, there would be somebody from the Sixers going, well, wait a minute here. We didn't want him to play in the Olympics. We wanted him taking care of his knee last summer, and we wanted him to be fully healthy for the Sixers season, but he went to play in the Olympics. He didn't take care of said knee. He did nothing for that, and then he wasn't ready for us, and then that knee injury was exasperated. So, I mean, this is where you got a story that was a PR piece. You didn't get a real story.
Man,
to me, that's two stories.
You don't think this was a real story?
No, I think this was a PR piece. No, I think that part is real.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a real writer would have gone, well, wait a minute. You went and played in the Olympics. So this knee injury you're talking about.
And they glossed over that part in the story, which we talked about.
What did you do
earlier
last summer when you should have been resting your knee, getting your knee ready for shave?
And then when it was time to get the surgery and the Sixers disagreed, that's a big...
Oh, no, that's
a big issue.
No, that part is valid.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a disconnect with the Sixers, the disconnect with the Sixers goes back to the summer before, too.
Oh.
And that part is just glossed over.
I would say the disconnect goes back to 2014.
Well, it obviously does from the story.
There's a lot in this. We'll try to unpack it all. We'll check the text line and our phone calls for the first time in the next segment. Did the story move you? And what's your opinion on Joel Embiid? It's a Joel Embiid day. We got Eagles stuff to get into as well. Andrew DeCecco will be in studio for 2 hours today. We want to hear from you. 610-632-0975. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
I understand the frustration watching this baseball.
how he got that title. What was your biggest takeaway?
I swear he wrote it.
I did not talk to Matt Menard.
What was your biggest takeaway from the story? Because we ran out of time, and I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
I'm curious. What was your biggest takeaway from the Joel Embiid story that we are reacting to a lot today? We have other stuff that we're going to get into, but obviously that's the big story here on Action News.
The Sixers never truly understood, and probably still don't fully understand, how to interact with their most important player of the past decade.
It's and you know what? I don't necessarily think that's just a Sixers problem.
Right.
I think
other organizations may not have either.
I didn't say organizations, people. Joel Embiid straight up says in this article that he trusts very few people.
Right.
And, one of the things that he says in the story is he wants to try to change the narrative of how people view him as a basketball player, but as a man, you can't say anything about me. Because we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
We don't. We
very
know
secluded, very quiet.
We know the fun-loving troll guy, like all that kind of stuff, but...
And he makes it clear in this piece that's not like
that's
the real him.
That's a front.
Right? So
even his college coach chimed in on that. Like he, at one point,
Get off
Bill
social media.
Self
He said, get off social media.
And because it was some sort of weird front that he had to try to hide like his true identity. So I think it's a great point that you make, but I don't even think that's just a Sixers thing. I think that's an everybody thing.
Here's the issue, right? Everybody is not invested in Joel Embiid in the way that the Philadelphia 76ers are invested.
By the tune of millions and millions and millions of dollars.
And to anyone who says, well, Embiid should meet them halfway, sure, in like a perfect reality, yes, he should. But the reality is you drafted him with a premium draft pick and evaluated him when he started playing, like after the injury, as this guy that could be a transcendent piece. And there seemed to never be this straightforward relationship between the organization and the player. And that's your investment. You're the one paying him. He's not paying you to make him a superstar. You're paying him to help this team. And you never figured it out. So I got to look more at the organization as the one that has to extend the hand first. And I don't know that they did that in a well enough way.
I think they tried.
Right.
The intern.
That's a great example.
Is a weird nugget in the story.
Very strange.
So in case
I've
people
never heard that.
Never heard this. In case people
Had you ever heard that?
Didn't read.
No.
Joel Embiid, when he first got drafted, we know was hurt and was not going to play in his rookie season. We didn't think that it was going to carry into 2 years, but it did. And then
it did.
Into the third season where he finally made his debut. There's a part in the story where Sam Hinkie, the guy that people want his name retired in the rafters, Sam Hinkie assigned an intern to work with Joel Embiid in his recovery process. An intern. Your third overall pick.
I swear to you, I've never heard anything like this in my life.
That is such, and again, we know a lot of the story of Joel Embiid. That's one I had no idea about.
I wonder if someone from Sixers camp or Hinkie's camp, you see, if this was a real story, that's why I'm telling you, it's not a real story. This is a PR piece.
Okay.
The Sixers would be quoted in it. The Sixers would be answering some of these things and going, because somebody from the Sixers, even though Hinkie's gone.
Well, I was going to say, maybe they try to get Hinkie, but like he did when he was the GM, he hid.
Right.
He always hid, and that's why
somebody
I never
from the
really
Sixers knows the answer to this question. Someone in the ownership group knows the answer to this question. I did not read in the story where the Sixers failed to. You'll read it in a story, and it should be in any story. The Sixers were asked
for a comment
and did not respond.
Well, Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey were.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I get that. But, the Sixers were asked and did not respond to this.
To that claim.
About that claim. That usually is written in a piece when something that odd is talked about.
Keith Pompey, you're on deck.
Yeah.
Because you know
Well, no, it should be.
The next wave will be. Somebody's going to write a story about the other side.
If this same story, yes, because these stories, nothing was sourced. It was just, here, let me tell you the story. Here to tell you the story. And that's why I said to you earlier, when the writer brings up these other issues, he goes, oh, okay, tell me what they're saying about me.
Right.
They're still saying that? They're still talking about that stuff? Like Joel's defensive. Even in the story, in a PR piece, he's defensive with the writer for bringing them up.
Yeah.
And the writer's almost apologetic for bringing them up, for the things that people think. And that's where you know it's not a real piece. That's where you know it's a PR piece, but I'm still fascinated. I have my theory, too, as to why this is being written.
Okay.
At this time. But it was a...
Can you give us that theory next?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to Ike in Southwest Philly, because I know a lot of people want to chime in on this. What's up, Ike?
What's up, Ike?
What's up, y'all?
How you doing, buddy?
All right, so here's my thing. You know what? I'm happy he did this. For one, everybody has an opinion about these players or whatever, and it's nice to hear what they actually think. Everybody has their own narrative. And I'm going to say this, too, John. Just because the Sixers didn't comment on it don't mean the story ain't true. And I ain't saying you said that.
Oh, I'm not saying that it's not true. Exactly.
Oh, I know. I'm just wanting to make sure you knew. I ain't saying that you didn't say that. I'm just to letting you know that. But also, I would tell you this. Like, yo, it's fine like that we don't understand stuff. That man came over from, I thought that was crazy thinking about it, never really think about it. He came over from another country. His family said leave. He comes to a whole different culture and stuff like that. Sometimes we got to realize, like, yo, we not all raised the same way.
Right.
I realize that. I don't have to realize that. I realize that every day. I realize that whether somebody was raised in Delco to Chesco, whether someone was raised.
Yeah.
I'm married to a woman who came from a foreign country to come live in this country when she was 10. So I realize these stories. I understand these stories. I'm compassionate to these stories.
Let's see the point, but I'm not even talking about you specifically.
No, but I do understand I think most people do understand these stories.
Now, then again,
only reason I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, go on.
Only reason that I don't is because everybody seems to want to put cookie cutter stuff on things. Like, we all value things differently. Like, yo, you said, like, y'all talk about, hey, you go through all that stuff. I think, John, you said you still got to strap it on and keep it moving. He does that. He can express, like, his upsetness about certain things, but he do still go at it. And I know the money got a lot to do with it, and the lifestyle got a lot to do with it, but everybody at some point, we all talk to our friends about the stuff we don't like about maybe work or life,
right,
and then keep it going. They just into this, and they just in the light showing it.
And
so,
Ike, you're right. Ike, you're right with that.
And
but
thanks for the call, Ike.
Both sides of the story got to be told.
Yeah.
And to me, the fact that story was told about how the Sixers mismanaged his injury last year, but it was glossed over of what he did to create the injury from last summer, just tells me that was done with a lack of integrity, that story.
Sure.
That was done. The writer did not do a good job there. What was the knee looking like after the summer? What did you do during the offseason to take care of your knee?
Sure.
That was just glossed over. That can't be glossed over when you're accusing the organization of mismanagement.
I think one of the points that Ike was also trying to make, though, was not only just coming to this country, which I know your wife did that. He didn't come with his family.
Right.
He came and stayed at like a foster home, right? Or a sponsor, whatever.
Yeah, he was with a host family.
A host family, thank you. Which, like, that's got to be tough. I've never had to
Not easy.
I've never had to deal with that.
Not easy.
You know what I mean? And you're trying to learn a new sport at the same time doing it. All right, coming up next, you have a theory on why this story came out. We'll get that coming up next. And we'll also hear from you and the team meeting that was leaked. Still bothers Embiid today. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phil's back in action tomorrow. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. With the MLB All-Star Game over, the Phillies continued their rest last night during the All-Star break. They'll take on the Angels tomorrow night in South Philly to start their schedule back up, and it'll be Jesus Luzardo that gets the ball first when they resume their baseball activities. Sixers took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play. VJ Edgecombe did not play in the game. He got the night off after returning Tuesday night from his thumb injury. So the Sixers still being cautious there. Union beat CF Montreal 2-1 last night. They are in first place in the Eastern Conference in Major League Soccer, and the Eagles are drawing closer to training camp. So we talked to Adam Schefter yesterday about, has their training camp strategy been working? Should it change?
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
So
So it seems like Nick Sirianni has an idea what he's doing. Hopefully it's just business as usual for the Birds. We'll talk to Andrew DiCecco about that starting in the 8 o'clock hour for the remainder of the show. This update's also brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole new floor inside your Macy's, and right now you'll find the latest summer styles all for under $25. With new arrivals every day, you never know what amazing deals you'll find. I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Texting, the easiest and most convenient way to communicate.
Texting when you want to be heard but not be heard.
Texting when the Birds win big, but you're way too excited to talk.
Text.
The Fanatic reacting to the Joel Embiid story from yesterday. Just an interesting deep dive into what's going on. Does it feel like a bit of a PR piece? Yeah, it does. I'm not against it though. And you have a
You're
theory.
you're allowed to have a PR piece. I think something should though be, when we discuss it, that wasn't a piece of journalism. That was like a magazine piece. That was a piece that would have been on the cover of Philly magazine. That was a piece that should be in a magazine. or something. ESPN, the magazine, could have done that article.
Okay.
Or something like that. So really well done. I mean, I enjoyed the read. I found it to be a very interesting read. It wasn't a piece of journalism, though. That's not journalism. That is an interesting read. And I enjoyed many pieces of it. I took a pages and notes here of stuff on it. I found a bunch of it very fascinating.
Okay. Well, what's your theory here as to why you think it's coming out now?
There's a reason why. Well, first of all, it was, again, it's not a journalistic piece. It's a fluff piece. It's a piece that is meant to portray one way. It is very negative towards the Sixers. That worries me. That worries me because it's like I think the divorce talk will come sooner than later.
Well, then let me ask you something. Why does it scare you if that's kind of what you've been wanting?
Because I don't want adversity around the team.
You don't think there's adversity around this
I think
team?
it's a little late for that.
I don't want.
If we were to name the chapter of Joel Embiid and the Sixers, that name is adversity.
But this would be self-created adversity. This would be.
So is the rest of it.
Injury adversity is one thing. Drama created by human beings is another. This isn't the Real Frickin' Housewives of South Philly. This would be created drama.
But wouldn't you say that's the NBA? Like in all seriousness.
No.
Let's not act like the rest of the league isn't the Real Housewives.
I didn't want. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want Harden around, because Harden's this. This is what Harden is, and they're talking about Harden was recruiting Bradley Beal to the Clippers.
Yep.
And this is going to work now because Harden says Bradley Beal could be a missing piece to the Clippers. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this storyline again. Yeah, I'll see you next spring. See you next spring. We'll talk about it then. I mean, the same crap just keeps getting regurgitated. This seems to me that this is the beginning of a camp trying to work their way out of town.
But I don't think you'd complain about it. Other than the drama.
Want that, right?
No,
You've been
but this
wanting
isn't
it.
But this isn't the. To me, this isn't the way you do it. This isn't the way a grown man does it. This isn't the way you do it. You do it by saying, "I want gone. I want gone. I want out." You don't do it by a whisper campaign of negativity against your employer. You say, I want out.
Now, I will say, Morey and Nurse were also involved in this story.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So, I don't think this was – it's not like this was just Joel Embiid and his camp trying to get out when Nurse and Morey are still involved in this story. They were interviewed by the writer.
And they didn't get to comment on the last summer story.
Yeah, there were some things that they didn't comment on.
Yeah,
they're right.
not. You got to be. I bet you if they were asked about it, they would have.
Maybe.
I bet you they would have. When that story, all I had to do was go to the let's take shots at the Sixers about how they handled his injury last year. All I had to do was come to that part of the story and go, well, wait a minute here. What happened last summer? I mean, I just saw Jennifer Love Hewitt dazzling on the red carpet, by the way. For the new movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
Hey, Joel, I know what you did last summer. Did the writer have amnesia about this? Did the writer just forget that part of the story
But
he glossed it over.
I know he
You
did.
can't write a story about Joel Embiid that the Sixers somehow mishandled his injury last year. That is a bull crap story. That's false.
Now,
Joel Embiid mishandled his injury
last year.
last year.
Also say he hurried back for the team for the Knicks series.
What happened last summer? That's the reason.
Yeah.
If he had taken last summer off and properly rehabbed that knee and not gone to the Olympics, we're not talking about a mishandling of the injury by the Sixers.
We think. I don't think it's. I agree with you, but we think.
Well, I mean, that's a part of the story that can't be glossed over.
Because he did say in the story, it mentioned how he kind of laughed off the Olympic stuff.
He laughed it off.
I didn't play as much as what people think.
And he laughed off the fact that he tried to get on to 2 other Olympic teams before the United States.
Well, yeah. That's besides the point. But to
you, it's besides the point. It's not beside the point to me.
No, but even
it's part of the story.
So if he played for France, if he played for Cameroon, he's still playing in the Olympics on an injured knee.
How about the fact that he begged France to take him and he was willing to sign?
Let's not get caught up in this.
That's not the point.
But it's not. It's beside the point that he doesn't. That part of the story is not even discussed. It's let's gloss over. He glossed over what he didn't want to talk about, and then he amplified what he felt is his slights. To me, he's always the victim. That's what I took away. You said, what was your takeaway? That was my takeaway. he's always the victim.
Last year,
very not accountable for his own actions. Very much, he's the victim.
Last year, I agree with you. He was part of the problem by playing in the Olympics. I didn't like it from the beginning.
But what I took away, though, is you asked for the takeaway. That's what I took away.
Okay.
And I that was my big takeaway, is that he's always it's always gonna be someone else, what someone else did to him, where someone else failed him, what wasn't done for him, the medical staff, the coaching staff, the thing. Not what he could have done better. It was what did someone else not do for him.
Just to add to that part, as you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Apart from the story, Embiid and his circle are quick to swat the notion away that the Olympics led to the last season. Quote, compare that to the way I was moving against New York. Embiid says, no, it did not set me back. His responsibilities in Paris were limited, and his playing time was irregular. He says he wasn't 100%, but his knee and body felt good.
I know someone who was two people, in fact, who were at the Las Vegas camp when he showed up last summer. First-hand accounts that he showed up and he was moving terribly.
Yeah.
He was not in good shape for it. He was not in good physical health when he showed up there. He was not ready for it, so he was not there. Two first-hand accounts, two guys who played in the NBA, eyeballs on it before it, everything. So
I'm not disagreeing with you.
It's just, so what I'm saying is that, again, it's how do I want this story to be told? Well, I want it to be told just from my angle, not from anyone else's.
Now, one of the big moments from this story was the team meeting that took place last year. And if you remember, when it was leaked, we celebrated Tyrese Maxey. So in case people forget, the Sixers were 2-11 to start. Remember Embiid, the ramp up, he didn't play some of the games, then he's available. The ramp up, that term is just gross to me. Details of the meeting leaked the following day. Maxey, whom Embiid considers one of his best friends, confronted Embiid about being late for team events and dragging the morale of the group down, which we have talked about the mopiness for years now.
I mean, it's something that he's constantly brought to the table.
Right. This is not like a just last year thing. We've always seen the mopiness. Embiid told a reporter, quote, whoever leaked that is a real piece of bleep. He eventually tells the reporter who did this story that he knows who leaked it. The reporter then asked if the guy is still on the team. And he didn't really say no, but he didn't really say yes, so I'm not totally sure. Everybody is coming to this feeling that it's Eric Gordon. I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, everybody's saying it's Eric Gordon. Everybody.
That was what I heard last year, that it was Eric Gordon.
remember that, but I don't know why it's Eric Gordon. Like, how
I don't know why either, except the fact that Eric Gordon, though, the only thing I will say is that Eric Gordon has been known in his NBA career, as being a funnel to insiders.
Okay.
Whatever team he's on, he's been known as being a conduit of information. That is how it's been. Not a conduit of, like, bad-mouthing teammates or anything, but he's been a guy that, hey, you want to know what's going on? You want to know something? I got it. I got it. Call me. Talk to me. So maybe that's how he got it. But we don't know that it's Eric Gordon. But
no, we have no idea who it is.
But you know what was interesting? Now you read that. You both read that. Mm-hmm. The guy who leaked that is terrible and everything. Does he discount any of it?
No. And
he never really did, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, but does he discount any of that behavior that Maxey finally had to be like, this is frustrating, dude?
No. Remember the reports were that it was like a positive, like Maxey.
Like, we love you.
It was
Maxey loves him.
And also that Embiid he didn't fire back. What Embiid's upset about is the fact
that's supposed to be handled in-house.
And it should have been handled in-house. There's no excuse for it leaking out. It's a bad teammate.
Yeah.
It's a bad teammate behavior.
Whoever did
somebody let that leak out.
Should not have leaked it out.
But it happens it happens in our industry. You got people who leak stuff out within hey, I got information. Let me call. let me call a media member and share what's going on. Or tell them. You got people who do this.
I can't tell you how many times I've been reached out to by those media members, and I just go, sorry, new phone, who dis?
They cater because they peddle in the I know something. Let me share it. It's funny they've stopped though.
Well, and it doesn't really help you in the long run.
No, it doesn't.
If we're being honest. So coming up next, this story dropped when Unfiltered was on the air. And Ricky Bo, former Major League athlete, had a lot to say about the team meeting being leaked. We'll play you the former professional athlete's opinion on it coming up next.
Love that.
I may actually surprise you a little bit, John, with the reaction that I took of it.
Okay.
It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-632-0975. It's amazing. I mentioned how Joel Embiid is. I think he's still number one polarizing figure in this city.
I don't think it's
there's no.
I think he's one, and I don't even know who's two.
I'd probably go Hurts too.
I go Hurts. I know you said that.
I'm telling you, if I hear people that find him to be a polarizing figure, I'm like, okay, who are you?
Man, I think he is. Now, if we're going your logic, then Aaron Nola would be too.
Aaron Nola, much more than Hurts. Like, much more.
According to you.
But you got 6 more years of Aaron. Well, one guy's totally accomplished.
I know.
A Super Bowl MVP.
But there are the people that say he's been carried by the team. And that's
ridiculous.
what Nick Sirianni, good for Nick, says.
Oh,
that's bull bleep.
It is bull bleep.
We all fertilize.
Our YouTube chat is buzzing.
What's up with the chat today?
It's just debates over Embiid.
Good. That's good, though.
It's beautiful.
I love that.
Like, there's some people that are still calling him soft, which, again, if you say Joel Embiid's soft, you're like, that's the I can't have a conversation.
Look, I would say that I am probably the most critical on air of Embiid here.
Yes, I believe so.
Here at this station. And I would never use the word, the one criticism I'd never give him is that.
Right.
And by the way, that goes for hardships that he's overcome and physically.
Yeah.
Like, he's come back early a lot.
Oh, yeah, just with the Knicks series.
We're talking about the Knicks series, but even getting
the face.
The face. I got to tell you this. I'd be flinching for the next 2 years.
Yeah, and remember, if you go back to that Heat series, when he gets hit in the face, when he already had the mask by Dwayne Dedman. I still remember Dwayne Dedman hits Embiid in the face on accident. It's not like he did it on purpose. And Embiid went down. And the rest of that series, he was not going down low. And I didn't blame him for a second.
Dude, I'd absolutely be. I told you that we were making the joke about, just drawing the difference between mental fragility, like making a big putt for like money.
Right.
I mean, physically, you got a broken orbital bone, your face bones are broken, and you're down there with those beasts.
And by the way, they were down 2-0 in that series. He evened the series. And then Game 5 is when he took the shot to the face.
I'm going to flat out tell you, I'd be wetting myself.
But YouTube's buzzing right now, so we appreciate everyone being a part of the conversation today. All right, so Ricky Bo yesterday during Unfiltered, they were on the air when the story dropped. So when a story like this drops, it's very difficult to do the show while trying to read up on the piece, right?
Okay.
We get that a lot. Like Tim McManus, I remember the Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni bombshell that he dropped last year. It was like 5 minutes into the show, and we're like,
yeah, thanks a lot, Tim.
Oh, my God, we got to try to – oh, he also may have texted me ahead of time, let me know.
We really appreciate it, Tim.
But it's hard to try to read along while also doing the show. So great job by Unfiltered yesterday.
They were on the fly
doing the show, giving their opinion. Here was Ricky Bottalico yesterday on the leaked meeting that is still bothering Joel Embiid to this day.
This is a little odd because when you're talking about the guy that's the star of the team, really, in Joel Embiid, and he's getting backstabbed by somebody on his own team, that ain't right. That to me is like, that's a cardinal sin inside of a locker room. You cannot be in a locker room and be comfortable. Think about this for a second. You and I together, you stab me in the back. Am I going to want to talk to you anymore? No. It's the same thing. Once you lose that trust, man. There is human nature in sports, And I understand he knows he's making a lot of money here, so what does he have to do? He's just got to kind of move along. He understands that the Sixers don't look at it like, if he was Bryce Harper, that other person would be gone. If this was the Phillies and it was Bryce Harper and somebody was talking bleep on Bryce Harper, guess what? That someone wouldn't be here anymore.
I do think it's crazy that the person's here. That's why I don't totally buy the Eric Gordon thing. Because, Eric Gordon, they could have just been like, all right, see ya. Like, he was making no money. They brought him back this year.
Well, the thing is, maybe they also can't prove it.
True. Even though Embiid says whatever.
Can think it, whatever. But Ricky Bo's right. And I've worked for professional sports teams, been embedded with sports teams. That's filthy. It's filthy behavior. Whoever did that to Embiid, it's filthy. And there's no excuse for it.
I got you.
It's all right for teammates to call each other out. It's all right for everybody to clear the air or to have that airing of grievances, that Festivus moment. But that's dirty pool. Because what you're trying to do is, if you're having an airing of grievances, if you're a grown man, you're supposed to be giving the person an opportunity to say, fix it.
Right.
Let's fix it. Let's do that. It's the whisper down the lane crap that can destroy people. And that's really weak.
Now, I agree with Ricky Bo, and I agree with your sentiment. But I will
Do you have a disagreement on something?
I'm going to say something that may shock you. I didn't mind that it came out. And not for content, but of course you.
Why? I'm surprised. I am surprised by this.
Because as much as I love Joel Embiid and as much as I love the Sixers, that man was coddled for far too long, which I think led to maybe certain, I can do whatever I want. Nobody's going to say boo about it because I'm Joel Embiid. The Sixers did that to both him and Ben Simmons. One guy at least is still playing. The other guy's a fake basketball player in Ben Simmons. That was like one of the first times where we heard something about Joel Embiid, and we've heard a lot of things behind the scenes.
Sure.
I was okay with it because it put him on the map. And it's up to Joel Embiid to respond a certain way, and clearly he's pissed. Now show it on the court.
Wow. Connor, where do you fall on this?
Yeah, I would have rather it been in-house. I don't think we need to be a part of it.
If this was year 2 of Joel Embiid, I agree.
Yeah.
This is year 10. And I love Joe, but I didn't hate that it came out because it almost put him in a certain light where now he has to change the narrative.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Is that what made Joel Embiid have to change the narrative? Like, that was the meeting? Like, come on. We already knew that he was in a tough spot with his fan base, tough spot with this organization, asked to do the world, not paying off on it.
Yeah, but we complain about the moping all the time.
Yes.
We never heard a player say that it bothered them.
Right, but this is kind of the thing where the fan base needs to feel connected to the team. I don't have to be, right? I need the team to know that, and they don't have to tell us they know.
I got you.
Connor, you summarized that. Like, that's a perfect summation to me. And I'm going to say it. I agree with CT18. I can't, you know what's funny is I can't believe that, especially the way you and I feel about the Embiid situation. I totally feel for Embiid in this situation going.
Oh, I feel for him too, but like
someone in that locker room is a disgraceful human being.
Yeah, Andy's just at the point with him with his history where he's saying, hey, drastic measures might not be the worst thing.
It is a shame that this far into his career, he's being a bad teammate. He's being a negative force. He's not being a professional with his rehab.
Yeah, and you know what?
And he's getting called out by it by a guy who loves him.
And now it's out.
Yeah, I just didn't like it that it was public. It's interesting, though. That's a really interesting take. And I never expected you to say that.
Yeah.
See, you learn something new every day.
I told you I'd surprise you with it.
Kincade Salciunas.
All right, come up next. Speaking of keeping things in-house.
What are you going to say?
There's an Eagles-related nugget.
I thought you were talking about us.
Something that happened last year. In the calendar year of 2025 with the Eagles that I don't think anyone knew. You'll hear that also. This story was not just Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was the subject, but Daryl Morey got interviewed in it. John, Morey may be lost. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Baseball back tomorrow. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. With the MLB All-Star Game all finished up, but the All-Star break still going on, baseball has one more day off till they're back, and the Phillies will take on the Angels tomorrow night in South Philly to start their schedule back up. Jesus Luzardo will get the ball first as they resume play. The Sixers took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play, but VJ Edgecombe was not on the court with his teammates. He was resting after coming back from his thumb sprain the night before. Sixers still being cautious with that injury, so we'll keep you updated as that continues. The Union took down CF Montreal last night 2-1. They are first in the Eastern Conference in the MLS, and the Eagles are drawing closer to training camp. So we talked to Adam Schefter yesterday and asked him about, the Eagles training camp strategy and if there's anything at all they need to tweak.
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are with the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
Andrew DeCecco will join us at 8 o'clock and stay with us for the remainder of the show for the latest on the Birds. This update's also brought to you by Payday. Packed with peanuts and filled with golden caramel, Payday is one hard-working candy bar. So grab one now to power you through the day. Payday Peanut Caramel Bar. Get to it. I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. Engagement season.
him today. And again, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about the story on ESPN.com. Big one that dropped yesterday. Bit of a PR piece, as John has mentioned a few times. I don't disagree with him.
Well, it is.
But there's also a lot of stuff that we've learned from it with the injury, the Lisa, where he goes to Lisa Salters and says he needs surgery. At that point, the Sixers disagreed with the need of surgery, so he kind of put it out there publicly, like, I need to get surgery. It was a cry for help, he says. There's some stuff on Daryl Morey that we'll get into in a few minutes, but something that was really interesting. What's Ryan Clark's podcast called? I'm sorry.
He's not The Pivot.
No, he is The Pivot. He is the Pivot. Yeah.
The Pivot.
So Ryan Clark had Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on. And as we know, the offseason of CJGJ has been up and down, up and down, up and down. He loves the Eagles. He hates the Eagles. He loves the Eagles. He hates the Eagles.
He's one of those people that I think is having those struggles.
Yes.
That you talk about. I think he has those struggles.
I absolutely believe that he does. And, hopefully if he needs to talk to somebody, he can talk to somebody. And
not Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark's not qualified to talk to him.
Right.
Because he needs to talk to somebody.
So it was a really interesting interview. There was a lot of stuff to take away from it, like his love for the team still. He apologized to Lane Johnson about saying this team would never win again without me. Like he loves Lane and all that kind of stuff. So there was a lot to it, but there was something from this that nobody knew. In the city of Philadelphia, where we don't miss a beat, right? Like, you want to talk about reporters getting every single nugget. The Joel Embiid meeting where they sort of went after him, but Tyrese Maxey calls out Embiid.
Well, they went after him.
That got leaked. Everything seems to get leaked. We find out everything,
right?
And the Eagles, we find out a lot. The Hurts, Sirianni, beef and all that kind of stuff. Listen to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the story that he tells about something that took place during the playoffs. Take a listen.
Then we had like a little scrum at practice. Nothing. It's just offense versus defense. But who's the culprit of it? Me, I guess, because I guess we're competing. You telling us not to compete during a live period, but it's a live period. We competing to get ready for a playoff game. All right, cool. It's like little antic things that, okay, so how you want to play football? You want me to be a leader and outspoken, but then you want me to sit back and just, I'm cool with taking the back seat, but I'm not cool with little things like, okay, I'm misled. I'm confused. I don't understand what you want me to do. So being in Philly is like, I would actually now go to the front office like, what's my role?
So majority of that point was he's a fiery guy. They liked him that he was fiery, but then they got upset with him when he was fiery, that kind of stuff. But the beginning of that, he talks about how there was a scrum in one of the practices before the playoff games.
Well, he's doing the Harry Hard-on routine. And we've seen this. Mm-hmm. We've seen this. And anybody who's played on a team, coached a team or whatever, I personally enjoy the very physical practices.
Yes.
Everything like that. But there's always a line.
Yeah, we go play on.
There's a line of you're in the, you don't be too physical with your own teammate. You can get physical.
Well, maybe it helped. They won the Super Bowl. Maybe it helped.
Yeah, man, they got dogs.
But isn't that amazing that we never heard that?
No, it's not. It
was probably a closed practice to the media.
Well, no, it is closed because they get to see them stretch. They get to see and then they're out. So it's part of the Eagles' policy. But also, too, it speaks to what I had a comment on yesterday on the show. It speaks glowingly of the Eagles' culture.
Yeah, and Sirianni.
Is that it didn't get out. And that part is that's in the Nick. That's in the big check mark column for Nick.
That's as soon as that scrum's done, the whistle, beep, beep, beep. And this doesn't get out.
If anybody, I don't want to hear this. It doesn't slip out of here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
There's too many distractions surrounding the playoffs to begin with. We don't need to add another one. That's probably what Sirianni said.
It's great teamwork.
Yeah.
If it was even a distraction. Like, we don't know the nature of the scrum.
Well, it's a distraction to him. Obviously, it was a distraction to C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Well, yeah,
he's still carrying it around,
thinking about it
as some sort of a wound.
Right, I got you. But I wonder how big of a deal it even was for the team, because it's football. It's not basketball. It's not baseball.
I got you.
Like hockey, guys throw hands in practice. Like never comes out. Right.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen as much anymore. But
I heard
clubs.
Bill mentioning this on Unfiltered yesterday when they played. It was the first time I heard it. Bill says, we hear about this stuff in training camp all the time, but when do you hear a regular season or a playoff fight?
Especially when honestly, compared to 20 years ago, NFL practice is like powder puff football.
Right.
Compared to the way it used to be.
Right.
NFL training camp is like powder puff
Which,
football.
by the way, Andrew DeCecco today joins us from 8 to 10. One of my first questions I'm going to have for him is what his feel is, how they're going to handle camp this year. Because remember, last year was more physical.
And they won the Super Bowl.
But they played into the Super Bowl. So do they revert back to a little bit of a softer camp? I wonder what...
Well, they played another month.
Right. So I'm curious. I'll ask DeCecco about that.
Right.
He's going to be joining us in studio.
Write that one down. That's a good one.
Oh, it's on the show
There you
sheet, my
go.
man. I
I
told
like
you to
that.
look ahead. All right. So Daryl Morey was in this article as well. And he was interviewed in it. It's not just like stories of Morey. Morey was interviewed as well in the article on ESPN.com. Really, really long story. So, again, if you have not read it yet, make sure you have time to sit back and read it. Morey and the Sixers staff obviously were against the surgery. And Joel Embiid ends up getting the surgery. I don't know who was within the right. Who was right, who was wrong. It's Joel Embiid's body. He can do whatever he wants. So if he felt like he needed surgery, then he gets the surgery. But Morey, I feel like, was against it, as you could tell just by reading the story and by the reports this past season. Now, remember last week or 2 weeks ago when he said that he'll be good come camp? And then,
he's trending towards being good for camp. Right?
And then the story comes out that he had not done anything on the court yet.
Yep. He has done a thing on the court, and that was as of July 15th.
Correct.
Not one basketball thing had been done on the court.
And then Embiid was asked.
Except with Arthur.
Correct. Which I love. It's beautiful.
Looks good, too.
Arthur's his son, in case people don't know.
Looks good for him.
And then this part of the story comes out. We're not going to push anything, he says. For my whole career, I felt like we never took that approach. A week before, Morey had said that he was hopeful Embiid would be back in time for training camp in September. Quote, we don't have a timeline, Embiid tells me. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I ask if the organization supports his new patient approach. Quote, I don't know how they feel. The only thing I'd say is this is a business. It's all about the results. If I come back early enough and I'm still not myself, guess what? You're not winning any games, which I agree. You know how I feel about this team without Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey and company are an 8 seed. With Embiid, who knows? How are they not on the same page?
Because of the fact, again, this is what I just told you. This was a piece written with agenda. They picked their writer. They picked the theme that they wanted to get out, and this was written with agenda. They are not. They're laying the line and drawing the line in the sand. Yeah, we're not going by what I bet you they heard Daryl Morey saying, yeah, it looks like he's ready for training camp. I think they're like, no, we're calling the shots now. I'll decide when I'm ready. I'll decide the timeline. You're not deciding the timeline. This is where the family feud begins.
Well,
this is where it begins.
I don't blame him for putting it out there. Like, whoa, hold on a second. I don't know if I'm going to be ready.
I understand that.
Because Daryl Morey, let's face it, is trying to clean up a lot of his own mistakes. And so for him to say, no, we're going to be good come camp, and then all of a sudden Paul George gets surgery, and now Joel Embiid might not be ready for camp, I think Morey's lost right now. Now, here's another part of the story.
What did I say about the day that the announcement was made that he'd be ready for camp? On this show.
I'll see when I believe it.
I said,
Yeah.
Yep, I believe it. I didn't believe it. And in hearing Joel's comments, I don't believe it.
Yeah. So
not at all.
So Morey...
Have they picked the resort yet, by the way? Do we know which 5-star resort they're going to?
We don't know just yet.
So there's good nightlife and everything like that so they can really get their work in?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So Morey was then asked again about whether or not, like, what if Embiid and his knee doesn't heal? And Morey couldn't think of an answer. And he paused and he paused and he paused. And then finally he said, quote, I take it back. I don't think. And then he paused again and couldn't think of anything to say. And then he said, as he stood up and started leaving the room,
right,
quote, I'm going to choose to think of the positive today.
Yes.
That's not being a doctor.
Because I'm going to think of the positive because I signed him to a ridiculous 3-year max extension, 2 years to go on his deal, where I had no reason to have to do that, and I did it. So it's that nervous laugh of, I don't want to even think of the disaster that I put this franchise in.
Yeah, that's not good.
Nope.
My man's a little lost right now. A lot.
Well, I don't understand it. I still don't understand it to this day. What they were thinking.
I like Darryl the person. You and I have
yes,
had the
we do.
chance to hang
We
out
very
with him,
much
but this story didn't help his case all that much.
No.
All right, coming up next, we'll get some more text messages. We've been very busy unpacking this story, so I want to check the text line in the next segment. But also, there was another moment in the story that shouldn't surprise me. I just wonder why we even reached to this point. Somebody that doesn't talk to Embiid anymore. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing the same old tired takes? Good news. There is a solution to your
Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. We'll get to our text messages and some more on the Embiid story here coming up. But real quick, really sad news. Eagles former linebacker Brian Brayman passed away. I don't know if it was overnight, Thursday, so this morning. In case people missed it, Brian Brayman had been dealing with a very aggressive form of brain cancer.
It had gotten into his lymphatic system.
He was diagnosed in February, and I'm reading the story from Adam Schefter. He had multiple surgeries. They tried doing whatever they could, but unfortunately, this rare aggressive form of cancer, as they're saying, took his life this morning, and it's a horrible story. We obviously know that he was part of the Super Bowl team, but he also leaves a family behind. He's got 2 daughters at the ages of 11 and 8. So our hearts go out to the Brayman family and one of the first, or a member of the first Eagles Super Bowl team. So really sad news. It was sad when it came out last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think I read it. I think I was out when I first saw it. It's a horrible story.
Yeah, horrible story.
And it's horrible, and it's why early detection of any kind of cancers are really, really important, and why it's why the lymphatic system is terrible. Once it gets in the lymphatic system, it's terrible.
Right.
And so, guys or ladies, if you're listening, if you're ever feeling off in any way, shape, or form, please get yourself checked out.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah,
please. And you never know what's going to happen in life, but Godspeed to him and his family.
Yeah, horrible news this morning.
God, that is terrible.
All right. Before we get our texts, one other nugget from this story. It's not a surprise because of who it is, but why is James Harden not talking to Joel Embiid anymore?
I didn't understand this part.
So
Joel Embiid loved having James Harden here.
Yeah. Joel Embiid's MVP season would tell you that.
And he loved it. He made it very public that he loved it.
One of the big parts of this story was the lack of continuity, which I have been talking about for years, not just from a Joel Embiid standpoint, but just like it's hard to have a team in November not be the same team in like February. And the Sixers have done this even before Daryl Morey, where it's these complete overhauls. And one of the things that came out in this story was that James Harden doesn't even talk to Joel Embiid anymore because Harden feels like Embiid was part of the reason why he's not here anymore. When Joel Embiid, as you know, I've talked about this a lot, had his best season. And James Harden, as a point guard, had his best season.
And Joel Embiid was incredibly gracious multiple times on praising James Harden for like their working relationship and his season being. I remember the speech. Like about what James Harden meant for him.
Remember the video,
MVP when he got the MVP and everything.
Remember the video when Embiid won it? They were like in a team meeting, and Harden gave him like the biggest hug, and I was like, "This is great."
I remember the Embiid MVP speech when he got his trophy.
Yeah,
which was I think just a bit shorter than the Jason Kelce retirement speech. And I mean, he was very great. Like, he loved what James Harden did for him.
Here's a quote from the story. No one knows this, but even James is not talking to me. That's the part I don't like about being that guy, because it puts you in the middle of those situations. If you ask James, he probably believes I had something to do with him not being here. And I'm just like, I won the scoring title. You won the assist title. We had a pick and roll that was unstoppable. It hurts when you feel like you haven't done anything wrong. When you think you have a relationship like that with somebody, you lose a lot.
What did...
I don't know what James Harden's
James Harden's the bad dude in that story.
Yeah,
James Harden's the bad guy in that story. And by the way, James Harden
is new.
Exactly. Like, don't worry about it.
Even though I wish he was still here. But what else is new?
Yeah, him and his, he's getting his matching purse at his next birthday party.
What do you got on the text line, Connor? I know we've been very busy, and I'm sorry, but I would love to hear from the people.
Yeah, so someone brings up a theory on why this piece, why now, and they say support for Joel Embiid is at an all-time low. They're trying to get people back on board ahead of this season that could be a very important one for his future, either here in Philadelphia or in the league in general.
Yeah, it's a good theory, and I think, again, that's what PR pieces are for, right? It's for when you're in a certain spot and you need the narrative to change. So I think that is why John called it a PR piece, and I don't necessarily disagree with John. The only thing is, like, is that the only agenda, to try to put people's narrative of Embiid to change, or is it, to what John was thinking, maybe this is the beginning of the breakup?
Yeah, I mean, this is the beginning of the breakup. If you don't need to know, don't want to give you the spoiler alert, but that's what this is. Because this is not the writer who was the handpicked writer is given this kind of behind the scenes access, and that's for a reason. That's with agenda, and then the piece is written with agenda, and so yeah, this is part of the breakup. This is going to be part of the breakup.
What else we got on the text line?
All right, so we also have to have check in on someone who agrees with what John was just saying there, and this texter says, "This sounds to me like Embiid is trying to pave the way for his unceremonious exit from the Sixers. I don't think this is going to end well."
Yeah, I mean, this is.
Now, here's the thing. When he says, "I don't think this is going to end well," does that mean messy breakup, or does that mean just breakup in general? Because I don't think many people would complain about that.
But a messy breakup would be different. If Joel Embiid and the Sixers wanted a divorce, I'd absolutely. I'd call the attorney.
You've been asking for
I'd call the attorney. I'd offer to chip into the GoFundMe to pay the retainer, because it deserves to. To me, it deserves to happen. Because again, I'm not falling for any of the. Yeah, this can all still work. No, I'm not falling for it. So I'd be fine with it, but. Yeah, I think it's going to get messy. I don't want it to be messy.
No, because you also want, if it's not messy, it's a good return.
Yes,
the messier the situations get, the less of a return.
I don't want it to be messy, but this is the beginning of the divorce.
All right, what else we got?
All right, so we have a check-in here. Big Leo says, "I never wanted to trade Embiid, but if he doesn't want to be here, then trade him. Find a way to get Bam or Giannis. Maxi McCain and VJ are the future. They just need a big man who could be a double-double machine." So looking a lot more at the basketball aspect of
right.
it.
I don't think you're getting Giannis for Joel Embiid.
No.
I don't think that's happening.
By the way, I wanted to ask you both this question. Mm-hmm. When you read that, do you think this makes him more or less attractive to teams?
I don't really have an opinion on that.
I don't think it changes.
Yeah, I never got anything from that.
Okay,
I didn't.
The whole. I think if it was a different piece, I would have thought the Maxi part of the piece. The story about the team meeting, the part that I was waiting to hear was Joel to go, "That meeting woke me up. That meeting said to me, dude, I got to change my behaviors." It was really a wake-up call. It would have been a great time for him to say, "Yeah, I can't be a bad teammate. I can't have a bad work ethic. I can't have these things."
Well, and he, at the time, was trying to play through the injury, and then he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, but you can change being a bad teammate, being a bad work ethic. Dragging other people down.
Try
with what's going on. You could know, but
unless
it would have been a good thing.
Mentally there was a lot going on, which again, that's part of this story that he is now seeking professional help, which I think is a good thing.
And I think that is great.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, the Embiid story will not go away. There's a lot to still unpack from that, but also Eagles training camp less than a week away. Our man Andrew DeCecco will be joining us for the remainder of the show, and I'm curious, what kind of camp can we expect out of the Eagles? That was more physical last year, but they played deeper into the season. So deep, they won the Super Bowl. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles Super Bowl champ passes. I'm Connor Thomas, and the unfortunate news came through today that a member of the 2017 Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning team, linebacker Brian Brayman, has passed away from an aggressive form of brain cancer. Brayman was a big part of the Philadelphia Eagles' first championship team. He will be missed here with the Eagles. And in other news around sports, the MLB All-Star Game being over, the Phillies continued their rest last night during the All-Star break. They're going to take on the Angels tomorrow night in South Philly to start their schedule back up. Jesus Luzardo will be taking the ball first to start the second half. Sixers beat the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play. VJ Edgecombe did not play in the game. He got the night off for rest after returning to the court the night before with his thumb sprain injury. The Union took down CF Montreal 2-1 last night. They're in first place in the Eastern Conference. And the Eagles are drawing closer to training camp. We talked to Adam Schefter yesterday about what the strategy should be for Nick Sirianni in camp.
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
He does certainly seem to know what he's doing. The rings will tell you that. We'll talk to Andrew Jacheco. Coming up next, he'll be with us for the remainder of the show. This update's brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing the same?
...30-year-old senior citizen, and John's the 6-year-old teenager. What is Andrew Jacheco? Because Andrew's
Football
a part of
guy.
the show. Just football guy, Andrew Jacheco. Welcome in here on Kincade and Salciunas. Our man, Andrew Jacheco, with us for the remainder of the show today. What's up, brother?
What's up, fellas? Great to be with you.
I haven't seen you in forever.
It's been way too long. I forgot what you look like.
Well, you got a haircut.
You forgot what I look like.
He got a haircut. I was like, man.
He doesn't even recognize your usual haircut either.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I have it all year round.
It's
the haircut he always gets.
But here's the thing. When I talk to you, I'm so just locked into the conversation.
He said looking into your eyes.
I'm not looking at your hair.
He's looking into my soul.
Yeah, I am. Like, I'm looking at the football soul, and that's what I'm locked in about, not your hair. But the hair looks good today.
I
so does John.
appreciate it.
Because John got a haircut yesterday,
It's
too.
good. That's
and
right.
I never gave him his
The first thing that happened, you commented on my haircut, and John's like, what about mine?
There you go. I'm like, what the? Like, I've sat next to you all morning. I haven't even heard it once. He comes in, he gets this like love note.
Your hair looks great.
It's unbelievable.
I called you Honey Buddy today.
Yeah, you did, but you say that every morning.
Speaking of, let's give our second $50 gift card right now to Wendy's. Remember, new contest line. So let's go caller number 3 to 610-206-0975. 610-206-0975. And you'll get our second of our four $50 Wendy's gift card. Wendy's, the breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Johnny, get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. So, Andrew, we are less than a week away from training camp. Obviously, a big story today is the Joel Embiid story. I want to get your thoughts on that as we go on. But training camp starts in less than a week. Now, I want the people to be prepared for this, and I want you to be prepared for this. At the bottom of this hour, John Kincade has a bone to pick with you when it comes to the Eagles.
Okay.
And I already told him yesterday that this will be a crisis of mine. Do I side with my partner, John, or do I side with my partner in footballisms, my fellow football man? And John told me that I would disrespect him if I just sided with him because it's you.
Correct.
So
I don't want your.
If you agree with the information that I give you,
correct.
You do what you will with that, and just come over to the side with me and Bill and Ricky.
Because I absolutely, I find myself agreeing a ton with the insights of I always say it, but on this one, I'm like, okay, I heard stuff the other day, and I
don't even know where he's going with it. Like
neither do I. But I
imagine
it has to do with my support of Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo in the offense.
We're going to get into it.
All right, we will. Now, first and foremost, we were talking about this earlier, and I'm curious what your feel is on this. How physical will this training camp be for the Eagles? If we remember, last year it was a more physical camp than normal, even though physical in 2024 is not what the early 2000s were.
Most physical camp under Sirianni.
Correct.
Easily last summer, yeah.
But they then played into February. So what's your feel on this upcoming training camp, how they might handle it?
Yeah, I don't think it factors in the fact that they played in February because they have a strategy and a vision of how they want things to look in the spring.
Okay.
And so they're able to kind of gauge in terms of intensity levels. There's always so much you could really do in the spring. It's really a glorified passing academy because there's no contact. But I think you're going to see them have another physical camp because it's hard to argue with results, right? And as long as Vic Fangio is here as the defensive coordinator, you're going to see a lot of that. And the fact that this team, they don't play their starters in the preseason. This is the way to really gauge that physicality and immerse yourself in that so that when you get to the regular season, you're able to hit the ground running.
Okay, sounds good. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, WPN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, BZ Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. The other thing we talked about earlier today, Eagles related. Connor, have the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson clip ready again. So I know this was played yesterday on Unfiltered. I don't know have you heard him talk about the scrum yet?
I saw it floating around social media yesterday.
All right, take a listen. This was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was the latest guest of Ryan Clark's podcast, The Pivot. And he talked about, his role on the team and obviously his physicality, but he mentioned something that took place that I don't remember anybody talking about. Take a listen.
Then we had like a little scrum at practice. Nothing. It's just offense versus defense. But who's the culprit of it? Me, I guess, because I guess we're competing. You telling us not to compete during a live period, but it's a live period. We competing to get ready for a playoff game. All right, cool. It's like little antic things that, okay, so how you want to play football? You want me to be a leader and outspoken, but then you want me to sit back and just, I'm cool with taking the back seat, but I'm not cool with little things like, okay, I'm misled. I'm confused. I don't understand what you want me to do. So being in Philly is like, I would actually now go to the front office like, what's my role?
So our reaction is not so much the whole Chauncey confused and what his role is. Our reaction is there was a scrum leading up to a playoff game, And good on Nick Sirianni and the Eagles for keeping that in-house.
Yeah, well, I think that's really a testament to the culture that Nick Sirianni and really the Eagles organization have cultivated, right? That's something that hasn't come out. That's something that, well, it hasn't come out until right now, but that's something that ordinarily would not because of the infrastructure that's in place. And that goes a long way with establishing trust and building a solid foundation. That's just one of the many reasons why this team is equipped to really, continue on with their sustained success. And there is a big difference between repeat, which is a word that you're not going to hear uttered from the NovaCare complex, I can assure you that, versus sustained success, which is something that Nick Sirianni has been adamant about.
You speak to that, the no talk of repeat. You want them to have the repeat mentality, though, right? Like, how do you balance that? I want them completely wanting to have the mentality to get back to do it, but is it almost like a bumper sticker thing? We're not saying repeat, but we want to repeat.
No, I don't think it's like that because that wasn't their vision last year either. It was about putting in daily work, focusing on what's important, blocking out the noise, taking care of each other, being accountable, and taking care of your responsibilities to make sure that the team was ready to go each and every Sunday. And you really saw that focus materialize on game days.
So who's going to help push that notion to not bring up repeat? Obviously, it's Nick Sirianni is the guy that first sort of starts saying that stuff. I guess this is a leadership question because we know guys like Darius Slay are gone, but we know Jalen is psycho and A.J. Brown are psycho, where it's like, all right, we want more. Let's focus on what's next. Who are some of the other guys that would kind of push that notion and not use the term repeat and to just keep doing what you're doing week in, week out?
Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jordan Davis, Reed Blankenship, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean.
A lot of guys.
a lot of leaders. That's what I'm getting at
the
here.
Roster. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm getting at here. Those are some of the ones that really come to mind who I think exude leadership.
I love the idea, though, what you say there, though. The leadership of those guys. But there was a name you tossed out there that I think I bet you there are quite a few people in the car that heard you say it. They went, oh.
Jordan Davis?
You knew exactly where I was going. Now, to me, it's not a surprise. Because if you talk to Kirby Smart or his staff, they would absolutely have rattled off a Jordan Davis's name. But I think Jordan Davis is a guy who doesn't get enough respect from this fan base. Because I don't think they see what he does.
Right. I 100% agree with you there, John. And the thing is from the outside, you don't see it. But internally, he is very vocal. He's now been around for a while now. He knows what the expectations are. He's taken it upon himself to make sure that he's in better physical condition because he knows the responsibility that comes with his new role. And when you take all that into consideration, especially coming from a winning program, the expectations and the bar is consistently raised, and he's really taken that upon himself. Look at the Georgia players there. Nakobe Dean, he's just an inherent leader. Those are intangibles that he brings to the table. And when you're used to playing and every single Saturday matters at the college level and you're always as good as your last game, that's something that I think will resonate throughout.
All right. Now, you're a sportsman, not just football guy Andrew DeCecco. You're a sportsman. The Embiid story, some of your takeaways. One of our first questions for the audience was whether or not this story moved people, right? And we've all kind of had similar thoughts and different. It's been a very interesting show for 2 hours.
And honestly, it's been different than I thought it would be.
Yeah, because there are things that I blame Embiid for. There are things that I blame the Sixers for. There are things in this story that got glossed over. Mm-hmm. There are things that I have not learned about. There are things that we already knew about, but there's just more info to it. So when you read that story, what were some of your takeaways?
Well, it was a somber story, and I think it really illustrates that Joel Embiid is the most misunderstood athlete in this city. And there's a lot of internal battles that he was fighting. Obviously, some of which the Sixers contributed to. I mean, one of his recovery process, I think it might have been his first one, was presided over by an intern.
Horrible.
I still can't believe I've never heard that story.
Yeah, never.
Couldn't believe it.
And you've never seen Joel Embiid be that open or that vulnerable. Mm-hmm. But you see why he sort of closed off because of all of these things that happened, even dating back to his college days and his upbringing. It really paints the picture of Joel Embiid, the person. And until this point in Philadelphia, you hadn't really seen or heard much from Joel Embiid in those terms. And I think that kind of there's two sides to every story, and that gives you his side that we've all been clamoring for a number of years now.
Right, and I do think that the therapy maybe have helped him open up. Like you said, that's the most we've seen him open up before, the most vulnerable he's been before. I wonder if the therapy has helped that. And he even says in the story, like, he's 100% committed to the therapy, but he doesn't
He's
think,
like, I don't buy into it all that much, but I still will
think
do
it's
it.
going to save him, but it's helping him sort of
As long as
talk.
it helps him.
Yeah, exactly.
If he finds any peace in it, if it gives him any peace between the years, it's good. But it's interesting, one thing that you said there. There's two sides to every story.
Right.
Right.
That should have been a piece on the cover of ESPN, the magazine.
I mean,
Or
that would have been a nice book.
Exactly. It wasn't a journalistic piece because it was just one-sided. It was like there wasn't two sides to every story. There was just one-sided.
But
we didn't get to
very
hear.
resourceful. You're hearing different pieces. You're hearing from Daryl Morey. You're hearing from Bill Self. You're hearing from Joel Embiid. I thought it was a tremendously written piece and a good piece of journalism.
I would have asked. We didn't hear from, but you didn't get Daryl Morey on. Well, what did we ask you to do last summer when you went to the Olympics? When the Sixers are being thrown under the bus about last year and his handling of his knee, you didn't get Daryl Morey going, well, Daryl, let's ask Daryl Morey. Well, what did you ask Joel Embiid to do last summer when he went to the Olympics? Did you ask him to go to the Olympics, or did you ask him to stay and take care of his knee and take the summer off and make sure that he was healthy?
We've already heard the Sixers side of the story. Now we hear Joel Embiid's side. That wasn't what it was about.
Yeah, he did what he wanted to do.
I'm not saying
I got you. No, I'm saying
absolve him of anything, but I'm saying this really illustrates Joel Embiid, the person,
Right.
and some of the battles that he was going through.
Yeah, and that's why it was
Still is.
It was very interesting.
Yeah, really, really big deep dive. Check it out, ESPN.com. We've been talking about it all morning. We'll continue to talk about it, but coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas, and at the bottom of the hour, right around 8:25, John Kincade is a bone to pick with Andrew DeCecco. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means. Engagement season. But remember, don't force it.
But give us another text message, Connor, because I know this Joel Embiid story. Again, I just check YouTube every once in a while. They're having a whole show right now, and I love it. I love that
it's very spirited.
Very spirited.
Like it's back and forth, and it's all different.
Some lines I think are being crossed. Some aren't. It's Joel Embiid gets that out of.
Well,
people.
it's that whole thing that you talked about, the polarizing.
Yeah,
but I don't think anything even comes close to him in this.
Oh yeah, he's number one by far. Absolutely. What do we got on the text line?
I think this is a prime example of why the article needed to be written and needed to be written the way that it was.
Okay.
So Mac from Philly checks in and says, 76ers are and have been so mismanaged for years, and Embiid will never play again. He has no heart and guaranteed money. He is probably 30 or 40 pounds heavier right now. If there is an insurance buyout, they need to look into it.
So how does he know that?
No heart. Come on now, look.
How does he know that he's heavier?
I'm an Embiid critic for a lot of things. I'm also praise him for what he's on. Like I don't take anything, but no heart. Read the piece.
Yeah, man.
He's got heart. Like heart is something that you can't. Heart's something you don't question. Like that shouldn't be questioned. Now, I would say that at times I think he needs to be a little more introspective as far as his role in what he hasn't been able to do. He has a lot of pointing of the finger at what other people that I think he could benefit from. But no heart, stop.
Yeah, please.
So when the Sixers play their first game, let's see when. Oh, we don't have the schedule out just yet. Anyway,
No, Sixers schedule isn't out yet.
Whenever he plays his first game in October or November, that guy's already wrong. Because he's going to play this year. He's going to do whatever he can to play. It's just, who is he is the question. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Brought to us by who?
I don't like the D as much. It's brought to us by Lundy Law, the Lundy Law, for over 70 years. Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Makes me feel like I'm copying B Gun's flow, and I don't love that. But we have some other beef to talk about. Not me and B Gun with these intros. Randy Moss and Tyreek Hill. It's the time of the sports calendar where people just say random stuff about other people in their sport to try and make headlines. And Randy Moss was recently quoted in an NBC Sports article talking about Tyreek Hill and saying, quote, he's nowhere all time. Where is he at in today's game? Tyreek Hill is probably top 5. I put him top 5. He's nowhere all time. And that's when it comes to wide receivers. Your guys' thoughts on that?
So Randy Moss saying Tyreek Hill is nowhere near it. I mean, Tyreek Hill's a hell of a player. Do I think of him as Randy Moss? No,
nowhere close. Different players.
Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. No, he's not. No. Tyreek Hill's not in that conversation.
No.
But do I think of him as one of the more explosive receivers?
He's an explosive play.
Absolutely.
But he's not in that. He's not in the conversation.
Yeah, no, like
Randy Moss took over games.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, and for an extended period of time.
Right.
He's not like.
Right. Like
he's not A.J. Brown in my mind.
Or Jerry Rice. I mean he's not. He's not in that category.
Yeah, so I don't.
What's he offended by it?
No, it's just Randy Moss
I didn't know if he was. I thought Tyreek Hill was offended by it.
Oh, he probably will end up being offended.
I mean, I imagine he would be. He thinks he's great, and all wide receivers do pretty much. And that's kind of the idea.
You could be a top 5 in your era, and that doesn't make you a top player all time.
And I bet you Randy Moss would agree with our statements that we just made about him being a great explosive player.
Absolutely,
I think Randy would agree with all of that.
Like Tyreek Hill is a guy when your team's about to play him, you're going, all right,
we got to worry about him,
right? But
no, when you think of the best receivers ever, it's Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice. I mean, Tyreek Hill's not in that conversation.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah, there's not a lot of drama there. I just wanted to hear the boys talk ball
I thought there was some beef coming.
No, there doesn't always have to be beef. Sometimes just where's Tyreek Hill?
Where's the beef?
All right. Well, this one is another guy who may be over-evaluating his skills. We mentioned it already, but I want deeper thoughts. Bradley Beal heading to the Clippers. The Bradley Beal experience comes to L.A. How is this going to go, boys?
Not much different because he did not like being considered a role player with Phoenix. He's not a star on L.A. It's still going to be James Harden and Kawhi. Like Beal is a piece to the puzzle.
And complementary piece.
And if he took exception to that last year, he got angry with Mike Budenholzer when Budenholzer said, I want you to try to be more like Drew Holiday. A champion. And he took exception.
To it.
And like that's weird to me. That's a Bradley Beal issue.
Yeah, it's a Bradley Beal
issue. Like how we're
issue.
talking about Embiid is some of the Embiid issues are his own problems. Like he did this to himself. That's Bradley Beal, man.
100%.
I want you to be more like a champion. Oh no, man. But nobody tells me who to be like.
It's all about me. Yeah.
Like
I'm literally shocked that. Man, I take Bradley Beal going there, and I heard that James Harden put on the hard sell on him to come to the Clippers, and Harden, like, this is the missing piece.
Now, they're at least barely paying any money.
This is the 11
2 years, 11 mil.
Yeah, so
this is the missing piece, James Harden. This is what we've been missing.
It's not the
James Harden, you're the missing piece, and it's between your ears.
They're going to win games.
That's the missing piece. It's between the ears.
They're going to win games.
You're going to put up a lot of stats.
And that's really about it.
And then April's going to come, and the beautiful carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin.
Yep. What
games
else we got?
every year.
All right, so if anyone's like, oh, why aren't you talking about the ESPYs? The ESPYs were last night. We're going to get into the ESPYs later on, all right, because it's on the show sheet. I checked in this time, Andrew.
Thank you.
So we'll round out with just a replay going back to the Joel Embiid article.
First and foremost, I want to go around the room and just sort of ask if this story moved you at all.
I mean, I already told you that it did for me, but I wonder how many people are able to see this, because I think the stronger point of this piece was the person, not the athlete. I wonder how hard that is for people to separate, because I've been seeing the texts coming in. I've been reading the YouTube chat. I've been hearing our conversation.
What's your general thought? Summarize it, because you get to see all of it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are focusing too much on the basketball side of it, and that was not the main point of the article. And it's hard to separate that in this medium, in our careers. But for the fans, I think your number one takeaway should be the person and not the player. That's the idea of the piece, to me.
Yeah,
and that's why it moved me.
Sure. Yeah, and there was a lot of human feel to that story, and that's why I, like you, was moved. But a lot of it is about basketball.
No, I know, and I'm not saying we need to handle it. Our job is to talk about the basketball team, right? Like, first and foremost. So that's what he is. He is a Sixers player. But I think the idea behind the piece was learn more about the person. That's all I'm saying. So if you're an unaffiliated fan.
That's where it wasn't it was a piece of, this is what I want to get out. There was an agenda behind the piece.
Sure.
And that's why they handpicked the piece. That's why they got they picked up the piece. They paid for the piece to be posted. So that's where it is. It was done. I think the agenda was done with, we need a good PR piece out here. And it was slamming the Sixers. That's bad. The Sixers don't like it. I guarantee you that. They don't dig it.
Morey and Nurse were interviewed in it.
No, but they're what are they going to do? Reject it? We refuse to be interviewed for it?
They could do that.
They could.
Yeah, they could, but they're not going to. Because they're not going to. There's no reason for them to run and hide. I don't think they're running and hiding on anything they did.
Sure. Except for the intern thing.
They didn't get asked. Well, they didn't have. But
that was
they're not.
Really
but they're not being asked about that. Morey and Nurse can be asked about that. They don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah, because they still say
but they
we
could
weren't
have been
a part
asked
of that.
about the Olympic thing, and they obviously weren't.
They could have been. All right, coming up next, John Kincade said numerous times yesterday that he is a bit of a bone to pick with my fellow football guy. This was yesterday. I knew that a bone would be picked. I just don't know what it is.
Bring it on,
I don't know which bone.
He's ready for it.
We'll find out next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Baseball's almost back. I'm Connor Thomas, and with the MLB All-Star Game over, the Phillies continue their rest last night during the All-Star break, but they're almost back in action. You know it is back in action. Wendy's, and they bring you this update. They have breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. The Phillies will take on the Angels tomorrow, so baseball will be back from the All-Star break. Jesus Luzardo will be on the mound for the Titans. Sixers took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night. VJ Edgecombe did not play in the game. He got a rest night after returning from his thumb sprain injury in Tuesday night's game, but the Sixers were able to find a victory. The Union were able to do the same over CF Montreal. 2-1 win for them. Their first place in the Eastern Conference. The Eagles are getting closer to training camp, so we talked to Adam Schefter about the latest idea on how the Eagles are going to handle camp, and he says Nick Sirianni knows what he's doing.
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
And in unfortunate Eagles news, Brian Brayman, who was a linebacker on the 2017 Super Bowl winning team, has passed away at 38 from a aggressive form of brain cancer. Our thoughts to his family. This update is also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid. So why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you
Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. I love the fiery music coming into this segment because John Kincade is a bone to pick with Andrew DeCecco.
Please. Are you kidding me?
What do you got for me, John?
First of all, he's my football guy.
Okay.
He's my football guy.
Yeah, he's my fellow football guy, though.
Dude.
Damn right.
Dude, long before you even knew he existed.
All right, so this is,
I was obsessed with Andrew DeCecco's work.
Are you
and
gatekeeping Andrew DeCecco from us?
No, I'm just saying he is. But I know this, is that I'm also not going to fanboy, even though I 85% of the time will agree with Andrew DeCecco.
I'm sitting back.
I was surprised the other day that I think maybe it is when you hang with Unfiltered in the afternoon, sometimes the rampant optimism just takes over.
You can't take shots at my Unfiltered brethren.
No, I'm saying is the rampant optimism takes over. Look, I love Unfiltered. I listen every day.
It's not optimism, it's reality, but go ahead, keep going.
I think it is rampant optimism when I bring up this. The rampant optimism of everything is going to be fine. It's going to be great with Kevin Patullo. I heard everything is going to be fine with Kevin Patullo twice. It's going to be fine. And I'm like, okay. I can't believe that everyone's just going, it's going to be fine here with a guy who, again, the average, this is Dork Boy at work last week while you were gone, Andrew. The average NFL play caller ascends to that role 6.43 years into their career.
You are a dork.
Yeah, I'm a dork. He's 18 years in when he finally gets to call plays. Kevin Patullo has never been considered the hot commodity in NFL circles.
That's just three times the average, John.
We're poaching this guy off of this staff. Now, again, Kevin Patullo may end up being an A-plus hire. And I'm hearing a lot of great things, and I've heard from you great things about what Kevin Patullo will bring to the skill set, which is awesome. But I'm going to tell you, I heard the same things a few years ago about 2 creams, 1 sugar, Brian Johnson.
I don't know what 2 creams, 1 sugar means.
Well, that was what he said. I was telling him Dan Quinn's coffee order because I used to get it for him when he would join us at training camp. I would pick him up a coffee. And I knew it was 2 creams, 1 sugar. So I just wanted to tell it to him because now as the Dan Quinn's the quarterback, he can get it for Dan down there in Washington. That I heard all along, it's going to be great. Jalen knows him since childhood. This is a great hire. He's been here. He's called plays in the SEC. It's going to be. He had much more reason to believe in Johnson than you do in Patullo.
I disagree.
Okay, explain to me.
Brian Johnson was entering his 3rd season in the NFL when he got promoted. He hadn't been coaching in the pro ranks until 2021. So there was a lot of newness there. He didn't have the same Rolodex, the same mentors to lean on like Kevin Patullo has. Do you know who Kevin Patullo's mentors were? Chan Gailey. Okay,
I love Chan.
Yeah, he coached 46 years in the NFL. I don't want to date that too much, but he also has Frank Reich as a resource, Shane Steichen, Nick Sirianni. And so when you take that in consideration, it's not like he's coming into this brand new. Did you like the offense last year, John? You touted Kellen Moore.
I touted him coming in, but as Andrew will tell you,
John was not really a big fan of the offense.
I didn't like the offense last year hardly at all.
He was not devastated when he got the job with the Saints.
Like I really wasn't. I was fine with him leaving because to me, I sold the audience and studied last summer. I was going I said I can DeCecco this. I can study this. And then I saw an offense that, to me, didn't look anything like I ever saw of an offense that I saw Kellen Moore run.
Well, why would there be a difference, John, when Saquon Barkley's ripping off runs at 70 yards a clip?
Oh, no, I got you.
I mean, there's no need to have such a departure from what's making you so successful.
How about when they passed the ball? Did you find the passing game creative last year? I didn't.
No, I didn't. But you also have to – it's a multi-layered conversation here, John, because Kellen Moore, joining a team as late as he has, you have to not only familiarize yourself with the quarterback, you have to learn your personnel as well. And if you're trying to implement all these intricacies, it takes time. And then you realize coming off the bye week, we have the league's best offensive line. We have the league's best running back. He's performing pretty well. Let's stick with that. Let's roll with that and see where it takes us. Well, it took him to a damn Super Bowl. So I don't understand where this you're sort of pessimistic surrounding a coach who has a number of mentors. He actually helped Kellen Moore put together the offense last season, and they would have conversations during games. He's equipped for this job, and he knows this personnel. He's worked with Jalen Hurts since 2021. I don't understand how you can go into this anything other than optimistic based on the information that you have.
I will just chime in here. Okay. You guys are doing a great job.
Good.
Oh, Andrew, you're still there?
I am still here. Feet are up, and I am just I'm enjoying the conversation. It's like I'm on vacation again. Andrew, how can you speak to somebody? Because I have a similar concern as John. Yes, that guy's forgotten more football than I know. Kevin Patullo, 18 years in the league, 46 years of a mentor, all that kind of stuff. He's never called plays, though. So he may know football, but how am I supposed to know that on 3rd and short, when you're on your own 20, your offense hasn't been able to get first downs, your defense is gassed, all this kind of stuff? How am I supposed to know that Kevin Patullo will make the right decision in game?
There's nothing that I could tell you to make you feel comfortable. I'm not here to sway your opinion. I'm just here to tell you that why I believe and the information that we have that suggests that he's going to be fine. Will there be bumps in the road? Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. I'm not suggesting that, but I think they're going to get off to a better start than last year, regardless of him being a first-time play caller, because let's not act like being around mentors like that, they're not showing you the flair for play calling. Kellen Moore and Kevin Patullo they were thick as thieves. He showed him a lot of the nuances of that role and that title. So he's not coming into this totally green, which is a total misconception from a lot of folks out there. There's plenty of other questions, but I think at the forefront here, he has a relationship with the quarterback. They know each other very well. He knows what Jalen's really good at. He knows areas of opportunities, and he knows how to accentuate his strengths. So when you take all that into consideration, whereas last summer, Kellen Moore had to learn Jalen Hurts, and when training camp practices are so valuable, every single one, you have that acclimation period in the beginning. I think that detracts from that production. Now they can hit the ground running. There's not that guesswork or that introduction period.
Well, how Patullo knows Jalen Hurts is not the way Brian Johnson did. Like Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts had a much more extensive knowledge of each other.
But they hadn't worked together.
But I'm going to say, as far as those mentors, usually when coaches are in the NFL and they're assistants and they have mentors like that, they usually get jobs. They usually get poached. They usually get recognized and told, that's the next guy. He's never been.
How do you know that teams weren't sniffing around?
Because he never interviewed. Never interviewed for offense coordinator jobs.
Well, I
mean that's what's sniffing around. That's the definition of sniffing around, is other teams call and go, hey, we want to interview him for our OC job. That's the definition of people sniffing around. And so to me, it's all I'm saying is, it's okay. I'm fine. And when I hear you be that confident, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. But
this is now 49 days of therapy.
But when I hear people tell me, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. This is all going to be great with this first-time play caller, a guy who's never done it. There's a difference with headphones on. You got 15 seconds, dude. Call a play. Pressure's on. It's completely different than having a mentor, thinking you can do it, knowing you can do it, never being under the gun like that. The people speaking in such certainty, because I'm not saying he's going to fail.
Not one of us said, I guarantee you.
No, I didn't say you guarantee it, and I did not depict it that way.
It's just that you feel
that
very
it's going
confident.
to be okay. Things are going to be okay.
I feel confident that they're going to be fine.
Because the first 4 weeks of last year, Kellen Moore had 3 top 5 offenses coming into Philadelphia. First 4 weeks of last year, sucked. He was a guy with a resume of complete success.
Yeah, and you were all Kellen Moored up, and you propped him up, and he didn't live up to your expectations.
Yeah, and he was a guy with a complete resume. 4 weeks in, the offense sucked, and he had total comfortability, total resume. And so I'm just saying, people tell me it's going to be okay. I think it's a bridge too far.
It's a much more nuanced conversation than you're giving it credit for.
Pause. Speaking of comfortable, I might do the show like this forever.
You're not allowed to put feet up.
Back to your corners. I am extremely comfortable. Coming up next, we're going to revisit a topic we had last year with you. You and Connor are on the same page. We discussed this yesterday, but you weren't in. So we're going to get your thoughts on the patience conversation, depending on the side of the ball. Also, yesterday, John gave us 3 season-long NFL bets. Today, he's got them Eagles related, and it's the top receiving options for the Birds. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid.
Caller 7 to the contest line, 610-206-0975. 610-206, the new number, 0975 will win our third of our 4 $50 Wendy's gift cards. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last.
I don't want to write down any 7s today. Got my club championship golf round this afternoon. No 7s, Connor.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
I'm definitely. Well, since it's match play, it doesn't matter, right? Just shrug it off.
You got the big tournament, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Good luck.
We'll see what happens.
Joel Embiid's rooting for you. So last year, before the season started, we had a conversation. Andrew Zucheko with us for the remainder of the show today. We talked about level of patience for the offense and the defense. And it was amazing. John and I, less patient offense, more patient defense. You and Connor, the opposite. More patient offense, less patient defense. We had this conversation again yesterday. It was the three of us. We also did ask Adam Schefter.
We did.
I'm curious, where are you this year going into the 2025 season?
Well, all I could do is suggest that you don't need to have as much patience this year with the offense.
Okay.
You guys do whatever you want, obviously, but there's familiarity here. You know what the personnel is. There's a coach in Kevin Petula who's presiding over a unit that he's very familiar with. Mm-hmm. He's been here since 2021. He was part of Nick Sirianni's initial coaching staff. So there's not that introductory phase where I think you have to worry about early turbulence. Now, the early part of the schedule is a bit challenging. Mm-hmm. But even still, you already know that you have the NFL's best offensive line and Saquon Barkley there if you run into choppy waters. So for those reasons, I think the offense should be humming fairly early. Now, on defense, there's a ton of new faces and a lot of projection that's involved with this. But, I mean, I think that's the one that you should probably exercise some patience with.
So we're on the same page. Connor's standing by his initial.
Well, he's okay. You're going to be okay if
he was on a fence. Connor was on a fence.
I tried to say both, and you guys yelled at me.
No, yeah, we pushed you to one
both
side.
Answers.
God forbid we have nuance.
No, you got to pick one. It's not nuance. You got to pick one.
Your butt's going to start hurting sitting on that fence for too long.
My butt feels fine. Don't worry about how my butt feels.
Let's move this conversation forward. Hey,
seriously, you got to pick one, and so that's where it was.
But yes, go ahead, Connor.
So for me, when I look at the offense, I kind of reverted back to what we did last year. Because that's going. I'll just tell you guys right now. Like, you want the key to the CT playbook for football season? I'm going to say what I said last year, because how this team went about things last year can be done again, and was good enough for them to win the Super Bowl. So if I'm ever reverting back to something where I don't know, I'm going to say, well, last year the reason I felt confident in giving patience to the offense is the quality of player on that side of the ball suggests that they will figure it out at some point. On defense, there are more question marks. So if I see things that are troubling early, I have less faith that they're going to figure it out. That's why I had more patience last year for the offense. That's why I'm sticking with the same this year.
Okay. You're on an island this time.
That's fine.
Congratulations on that island.
Sorry, Connor.
It's better than a fence. Islands are better than fences. All right, Johnny. Great. That's just analysis right there. That's what you get. That's what you get when you come to this show.
That's
ladies
deep
and gentlemen.
analysis.
That's hard hitting analysis.
It's insight and perspective that you need
Can't
to hear.
Get anywhere else.
Give us your 3 latest preseason bets, John Kincade. He gave 3 yesterday that Connor and I were both like, yeah, probably not going to bet those.
Not going to bet. I'm betting all of them for 50 because if I win one of them, I win. Today we're going Eagles receiving.
Yep.
Wagers for the season. Okay? You can wager on these ones for you. Would you go over or under? I'm going to give you each player, and I'm going to do them quickly. Let's go with Dallas Goedert first.
All right.
His over-under number is 58.5 receptions. Under.
No, first of all, I don't bet, but all I can say is I think Dallas Goedert goes 60-plus receptions this year.
See, my initial answer is under just because of the injuries.
That's why I go under.
And as a betting man, you have to take that into account. So my initial answer is under, not because of ability, but availability.
That is what I say. That's a Connor. Under or over?
I'd go over, honestly.
You're like Andrew. You go over.
Smart man.
I don't think they brought him back on this new contract. Like, I don't think he agreed to that without talking to the team about how he's going to be used. And I think that lends to maybe more involvement for him.
No,
I'm looking at utilization.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just, again, the availability. If I have to make a wager, I got to take into account that he has not played a full season.
How many times has he been? I don't think he's been over. Has he ever been over that in his Eagles career?
No.
Maybe rookie season?
No, he's not. What's the number?
Once.
What was the number?
58.5.
All right, he's had it once.
Went over
2023, 59 catches.
Like that's a tough number. I thought was a tough number.
Yep.
That's why I decided to go. I would think I would go under on that one.
All right,
he's
due.
On the receptions, Devontae Smith 80.5.
80.5.
80.5.
Considering I think they have to throw more this year, I'm going to just kind of stand by that. I will go over.
I would go over.
I think Devontae Smith's going to have a big year. I would.
I've heard you say that.
I would go.
On Birds Insider.
I would go above 80.
I go over that one.
He's hit that twice
Connor?
in his 4 years.
I might go over on all of these.
Okay.
Because of the same reason that I did with Goddard. The utilization of the passing game should be higher. Kevin Patullo is a passing game coordinator. Like that's how this should work. So over.
Okay, then I'm A.J. Brown, 82.5.
Over.
We would
Over.
all go over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think A.J. Brown's
I might go
gonna have
over
a
everything A.J.
enormous
Brown.
Okay,
season.
now I'm going to give you, though, the yardage you might not.
Okay.
A.J. Brown, 1125.5.
Over.
Yeah, he's going to have an enormous season.
Okay. Everybody over?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm
He's going to
over
be
on
their
that
guy.
one. The tough one for me is Devontae Smith at 875.5.
He's
But
hit that 3 out of 4 years, so over.
He has.
Yeah, I think he's
Okay.
going to have more than that.
Dallas Goedert, 575.5.
More than that.
600-yard season, you thinking?
Has to be
575.
576. It has to be 576 to win. To cash.
That's hit more often than not. I'll go over.
The receptions hasn't. The yardage has.
Yeah, I'll go over.
Okay, last one for you. A.J. Brown, 7.5 touchdowns.
I don't
That's tricky.
I'm not going to bet anyone's touchdown.
Nope.
Okay,
Do
no.
not
Because
touch it.
I would
Tush
say
Push
no.
is back, baby.
Dallas Goedert, 3.5 touchdowns. Devontae
More.
Smith's 5.5.
I'm not touching.
Oh, you definitely you said
More,
that.
more for Goddard. Yeah.
Devontae Smith, 5.5.
Yeah, touchdowns are tricky, man. Goddard, I feel pretty comfortable because he's hit, 4? I think 5 in one season, one of the seasons. Devontae, I'm going to say less.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert has a 5 and 2 4s. He has a 5 and 2 4s. So those are your receiving numbers
Yeah,
today.
I love that.
I use the Bet
Touchdowns
Parks.
are a no touch.
I use Bet Parks app. You guys use the app
I'm a
of your
FanDuel
choice.
man. Yep.
And use them, but you can start betting your futures because training camp is upon us.
Jalen Hurts over under 15.5 touchdowns. 1 touchdown a game, baby.
There you go.
Tush Push is back. All right, coming up next, Andrew Zacchecko with us for the remainder of the show. We continue to talk about the Eagles, obviously, but we'll also continue to talk about the Sixers story that came out yesterday. Johnny, I saw a tweet a couple of weeks ago when you were on vacation, so you don't even know about it. I'm curious to get all your guys' reactions on it next. It's about watching Joel Embiid this season, and if this is it, it's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
One more day of All-Star break. I'm Connor Thomas, and with the MLB All-Star game over, the Phillies continued their rest yesterday. They have another day of rest today before taking on the Angels tomorrow as the season gets going again. It'll be Jesus Luzardo on the mound at Citizens Bank Park to start off the second half of the schedule for the Fightins. The Sixers took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play. BJ Edgecombe did not play in the game. He got the night off his rest after returning to the court with his thumb sprain injury past him, but the Sixers still being cautious. And Union took down CF Montreal 2-1 last night. They're first place in the Eastern Conference in the MLS. The Eagles are getting closer to training camp. We are just, 6 days away from the first practice? Yeah, it's getting there. And Adam Schefter joined us yesterday to say, well, basically, if the Eagles' strategy with training camp isn't broke, why would they fix it?
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it. And they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
So Sirianni's gotten the job done. Andrew Zacchecko will stay with us for the remainder of the show to talk more about that. And in unfortunate news, Brian Brayman, former Eagles linebacker, part of the 2017 championship team, has passed away at the age of 38. This update is brought to you by Wendy's. Wendy's has breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo. While supplies last, I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What's happening in Philadelphia? Andrew Zacchecko here, Birds Insider for
7-5, The Fanatic, our man Andrew Checo in studio with us for the remainder of the show. We've been talking a lot about the Joel Embiid story that came out yesterday on ESPN.com. Very one-sided story, as we know, but more so the look in at the human of Joel Embiid. Yes,
it was a feature.
Big feature.
One of my fellow Temple professors checking in with me going, that should be called a feature. It was a feature article.
Yeah, I love writing features.
Those are beautiful.
I really appreciated.
You do a really good
there.
one too, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of write old school, like a magazine style.
Yes, that piece should have been the cover of ESPN the magazine, the cover of a basketball magazine.
Yeah,
that was not a journalistic piece. That was a feature piece.
As someone who loves writing features, I loved it.
It was
really nice.
I thought it was a really well written story. And there's been a lot that we've gone out of it. By the way, real quick, just one nugget on Joel Embiid. I love that he's watching the Phillies on his phone.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think that's so
I forgot to bring that
cool.
up.
Yeah, because if you remember, he was at the playoff. Remember when he was recording with his phone? He was like one of us, just 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I would hate to be the guy sitting behind him.
Yes.
But other than that, I love that he's locked in on the Phillies while doing an interview. I
very locked in.
I think that's pretty cool.
Not locked on Phillies, though.
No, not locked on Phillies.
It might have been.
But he could.
Maybe he was.
You never know. He might. Who knows?
He might be a big Connor Thomas guy.
He could be.
Well, I'm a big Joel Embiid guy, so thank you, Joe. Feelings mutual.
All right, so a few weeks ago, I saw a tweet, and I saw it, took note of it, couldn't find it again, couldn't find who tweeted it, and I apologize because I'm using you for content. And I always like to try to attribute, but I couldn't find it.
Got to bookmark it, man.
Exactly. I know. You're right. I saw a guy on Twitter put out a tweet, and I think you were on vacation or we did it in the headlines. I don't necessarily remember. It was a while ago. But this story kind of reminded me of it. There is a guy that tweeted out how he feels like this is the last season of Embiid. Kind of like how I feel like this is the last season of the Phillies core, right? I went into this year with that perspective in mind. Like, I'm watching the last of this core playing together. And the guy basically said, however this plays out, I'm going to watch what could be last season of Joel Embiid and just try to enjoy it. Can we even do that anymore? I can. Because I love Joel Embiid and I love his talent. But I also can't ignore, I want to see a championship. Or at least a third-round appearance, right? It's been 20-plus years, and it's been 10 years of this post-process thing. Could you go into it, John, because we've talked about this, that once the season starts, all our concerns, all of our doubts, we'll put that aside night one and just enjoy watching the Sixers, even though Paul George might not be available.
I can enjoy an individual performance.
Yes.
On an individual night. If I just heard you say, I want a championship, or
you don't believe that's
I want a conference finals out of this team, I'm going to say to you, I need you to lay on a couch somewhere and talk to somebody.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Because you're nuts. That's crazy.
I don't believe it's going to happen.
No, but I mean,
I can want it.
Yeah, but you can want it. But the thing is,
it's an unrealistic expectation.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, I would sit there. If I'm going to a Sixers game, I know we were already going to plan on going. I know with my daughter and I would always plan on going to a couple games together. I will enjoy and hope to be that night. Hopefully, Joel will be playing. And hopefully it'll be an entertaining performance from a player.
Yeah.
I believe July 17th of next year, we're not talking about Joel Embiid being a Sixer.
Okay.
I do not believe he will be here.
If you believe this is his last year, how will you go in watching Joel Embiid wearing a Sixers uniform for what could be the last time? The tweeter said it, and you kind of are.
I just told you,
reiterating.
I will look on any given night to be entertained because I know the product as a team cannot deliver me what I like. I'm not excited to go, wow, we could get into the play-in tournament.
Right.
That doesn't do it for me. What I will be watching for, the Sixers will entertain me. I want to see Nick Nurse play the young kids. And I want to see the development of the young players because I will look at this much like I will look at a Flyers season. And I will look at it as, how does my future look?
Right.
Joel Embiid's not part of my future.
No, I don't think he can be realistically when you read the article and you hear all of these infractions and things along the way. And in many ways, the Sixers have not done right by him. And it's very hard to rebuild that sort of relationship. One of the best players that I think we've all ever seen it's just a unique athlete, and he's just been tremendous. But it seems like if he's going to continue playing basketball, probably won't be here in Philadelphia down the road. But I'm going to enjoy any time he's out there for the Sixers because he's must-watch TV when he is.
Yeah, and that's how I'm going to go about it. Now, I can't just, to your guys' point, I can't just completely ignore the fact that they never won anything. And
that ship has sailed.
I know.
Like, the thing is, though, here's the thing is, though, I'm much more angry about that than you are of the era. And that ship has sailed for me.
I have my complaints.
No.
The continuity thing I've been complaining about for 5 years.
No,
now.
but I mean, that ship has sailed for me. It's moved on. Like, I'm past it. Like, that part of it, I'm past. It's that I'll look to be entertained on a nightly basis, and I moved on to the young core, and I'm hoping that Nick Nurse can develop the young core so when the future players come in, we've got something here.
Right.
That's how I'll watch
McCain,
that's how I'm going to watch.
Right.
Just like I'm going to watch the Flyers season.
Right.
I'm going to hope that Tocchet can do the same thing with the young players.
As you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, BC Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. If this is it for Joel Embiid, which again, it's all speculation, how would you enter this season watching the big man?
I'm going to fight against the dying of the light. That's all you can do at this point if you're this pot committed. I'm not as far as go down with the ship as you are.
Yes.
But I'm on that ship too. You might be the captain at the wheel, and I might be more kind of in the back, but just I don't know. What more do you do?
You're in the back.
You're Gilligan, he's the skipper.
If there's an extra spot on the lifeboat, you might jump on it.
Yeah, but for now, I'm still on this boat, and I've invested too much time in the Joel
Women and
Embiid.
children first, man.
Yeah, absolutely, as it should be.
That was a great Van Halen album, by the way.
But I've invested too much time in the what if Joel Embiid stories, right? All of these what ifs that we have fought for a decade. That if this is his last year, I'm gonna go down swinging. We've come this far. Let's believe one more time. That's it.
I
already knew what Connor was going to say before.
No, but I'm just
squat.
I'm floored.
I just want to enjoy good basketball from at least one man. That's, how I was talking about the championship, the NBA Finals, the NBA playoffs. I love that I just had good basketball back because I wasn't watching the Sixers debacle. I might just put it on and just to be, as you have said numerous times, John, just to
be entertained
with no expectations.
I think the young player thing, though, to me, I love watching young players come together. To me, that's going to be
that's fun to me. That's exciting
fun to me too.
Because you're seeing the future before, sort of right before your eyes. And I want to see what you're going to get out of a VJ Edgecombe.
Right.
How McCain's going to come back from the injury and all of those things. So I'll watch it, but in a different way.
I love that too. But here's my thing with every Philly sports team forever and ever. For all the folks that go into a season, we're seeing it with the Phillies, we're going to see it with the Sixers that say this team doesn't have a chance. They can't do X. And we don't and they're not the Flyers. They're not the Carolina Panthers, the Colorado Rockies. They're actually a team that may have some semblance of something going right. Those people are trying to protect themselves from believing in something that they believe is very unlikely, which is true. But at the end of the day, those are the same people that are going to call us and text us and tweet us the day the season ends saying, this team, can you believe, ridiculous, they got to change it. You're going to be mad anyway. So you could choose to be mad the whole season, or you can choose to believe for a little bit and then get to the same place you're going to get.
Or you can choose to just go in without expectations.
It could be dead. It could be dead to you right now. It's dead. I can't muster.
I don't even know if Paul George is going to be playing to start the season.
I got you.
Right?
I don't either.
Night one, I'm just going to be happy that the Sixers are back and hopefully majority healthy. And I'm excited to watch them play. As John has said, the Flyers. I'm not going into this upcoming Flyers season they better make the playoffs. No, I'm just going to look forward to seeing Flyers hockey as they continue to grow, not just as a roster, but grow back into the attention span of the fan base. This Philly season, I went into it with World Series or bust, and that's why it has not necessarily been an enjoyable year, despite them having a record of 14 games above 500.
Yeah, but the likelihood is the Phillies don't win the World Series. The vast likelihood is the Sixers don't compete for anything. But
one gives you promise for something.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, going into the season with the idea that we've talked about it, the story is already written, I do not do that because I'm watching the story right now. And I've seen stories take a hard turn all the time.
Yeah.
You've seen stories take a turn like the Sixers to a championship?
Absolutely.
Are you nuts?
Not
No.
here.
In a Disney
No,
movie.
you never have. In a Disney movie.
Lucky
Maybe
the
in the
Irish.
Mighty Ducks.
In sports?
It's not
You've never
Air
seen.
Bud.
Air
You
Bud.
have never seen a pro sports team.
There have been more improbable champions in sports than the 2025-26 Sixers.
Texas Rangers.
No.
Have you seen them since?
No, I got
They
you, but
stink.
no. This team is a hobbled mess. No, they don't even have healthy players. I mean, no, absolutely not.
Rangers were missing Scherzer, right? Wasn't he hurt? I forget.
I mean, come on now.
That team, I don't know how that
No.
team won a World Series. Oh, I know how, because the Phillies choked away the
Exactly.
NLCS.
Exactly.
All right, coming up next.
And they lost to a terrible team. My God.
I almost feel like I want to have a new segment on the show, Johnny. The pre-show, in-show segment. Because sometimes we debate things before the show that have nothing to do with what we're going to end up talking about.
Yeah, we do that.
And some would say they're the more fun conversations. So coming up next, some of the conversations we had before the show today that weren't really a part of the show that will now be forced into the show.
Andrew's looking forward to this.
We got some SB stuff.
Yes.
And John's got a question about men's league softball.
Yes.
Okay.
Cousin Matt needs a ruling.
It's Kincade and Salciunas. Andrew's checking with us for the remainder of the show here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn.
Presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, so the pre-show show that we have has nothing to ever do with the show itself. Ever.
Correct. We keep that for the show.
Yeah, the stuff that we there's a rule that we follow that all sports talk shows should follow, except for the ones where they purposely disagree with one another.
Because then they create the show by saying, I'll say this, and then you disagree with me on that.
We don't do the show before the show. And that's why there's some days where I'll surprise you with something I said, like the Joel Embiid, the leak. I was actually kind of okay with it because it put him on a map where it's like, all right, I got to finally change. And that surprised you. So anyways, we talked before the show today about the ESPYs, which took place last night. And one of our questions was, if you could go to the ESPYs, Andrew, would you?
No, that wouldn't be my thing.
I said the exact same thing. And John was shocked. But John was looking at it from a ESPN radio work standpoint.
I was floored because I got to go to the ESPYs 3 different times with ESPN radio. And I told Andrew, it was absolutely freaking amazing. One of my favorite things that I got to do.
But that's an event that you would really you would thrive in an event like that.
I
Andrew
wouldn't
and I
go no, he'd go. Oh God, no.
No, if I was going for acts to interview, I would for work. I would
for
love
work,
to
yes.
It
but
was awesome. No, but the thing is, I would never go to the ESPYs if it was, hey John, you got 2 tickets to go watch the ESPYs.
Okay,
I'm not going, but I'm going to tell you, the ESPYs was so cool, so much fun. It was great. Like, it was really, really great. But like most of the ESPN parties, and by the way, if you ever go to a Super Bowl, do not fall for the ESPN party thing.
Okay.
Come to the ESPN party. You can get a pass to the ESPN party, or you can pay to go to the ESPN party. There are degrees. So, like, if there's Super Bowl and you got invited, I can get you into the ESPN party. Well, even as an ESPN radio host, I got into the ESPN party. But my pass had a certain color on it. So the public buys tickets to one color, and then my pass got me into another color. And then I see Scott Van Pelt.
And then you got the top.
And Scott Van Pelt's like, how you doing, hanging out and everything like that. And then Scott Van Pelt's going to the next area.
Got the head honchos.
The social, he's walking past to another area. But, I mean, just so there's different areas.
Sure. There's levels to this.
You would love it.
A couple SB things, just Eagles related. They won Team of the Year, and Saquon won the Player of the Year with the reverse hurdle, which is still amazing. But obviously, social media was a buzz last night because Shane Gillis was the MC, and he made a lot of people in that building uncomfortable yesterday. He was hilarious, and it's nice to have comedy again, where people aren't afraid to say certain things.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I thought he could have committed a little bit more. He did seem to roll back every joke.
He seemed uncomfortable at times because, again, he was in a room with a lot of people that were probably getting offended by some of the things that he was saying. And, again, we've lost what comedy used to be and what comedy is about. It's about making fun of yourself. It's about making fun of others. It's about making fun of current events and not being worried about crossing lines.
Yeah, funny is funny. Just if you're going to rip it, rip it. That's the only thing.
He literally, you could tell he got uncomfortable at times. But do we have anything from it? Or
we do not.
Okay. He was hilarious.
Go to Twitter. You'll find him.
Yeah, they're there.
Lighten up, Francis, is all I got to say.
I would say so, too.
Because I thought he was hysterical, and I don't necessarily agree with everything that he has to say, but funny's funny.
Exactly.
To me, funny's funny. Are you a nice person or are you not? Are you funny? Are you not? Are you a football guy? Are you not?
There you go. Yeah.
There's levels to this kind of stuff. Funny's funny. We don't have to be offended.
Yeah, dog. I hate some people who I have laughed the hardest at.
Yeah. It's just,
if something's funny, something's funny.
It's the way that it is. And then you had a softball thing, but we don't even know what it is because you wanted to save it for the show.
Yeah, I want to save it so you guys didn't do it, and then you can all get in on this one here. So cousin Matt, I woke up to, you wake up to your little cousin, 6'5" cousin. A small debate topic for you guys in the show. Tonight in our softball game, the other team batted out of order. One of their players was out due to an injury, so they hit 11 instead of 12. It was a tie game in the bottom of the 7th. Should they have been charged an out? I say yes. But they bitched. We ended up losing on a walk-off.
All right, so player left due to injury. In my Sunday league, if you leave due to injury, you are not charged with an out. If you leave just because you have to leave, you're charged with the out. But there are rules in our league that if you leave for an injury, which is why somebody once had to leave, and it was, ouchie, I hurt my hand. I have to leave.
You see, I would think you're charged with an out just because of that, because you could have somebody fake an injury, and then to get to the better batter, so you have to have a penalty. There has to be a penalty to it. You're charged with an out.
Yeah,
you can't bat out of order.
You could pull say you pulled your groin, but you're really going to Bed Bath and Beyond or something like that.
Right. And then this is a late night softball game, so they're not going to Bed Bath and Beyond.
Then the guy comes up and then hits and they lose on a walk.
Now, hang on. What's the level of this league? Like, how much money is invested in this?
I'm not sure, but you know Matty. He's sort of like a Harry Hardon like you are, Tom. He plays in these things that he's very competitive. He's in very competitive type things.
Like in my league,
former college baseball player. He plays very competitively like you do.
Like I know, Connor, there's money involved in your league.
There's $5,000 on the line.
Yeah.
So in my league, if you're,
I don't believe it's that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying is that it's still it's their rules. If you bat out of order, you bat out of order.
Yeah, but dude,
can't do that.
If it's co-ed or something like that, whatever. Like, just let
regardless,
everybody
it's not a professional league. So again, does
the league have rules though? Does the
I don't know.
Does it matter? No, there is a rule, but then they bitched about it, and because then you could fake the rules. You could fake an injury.
Oh yeah.
My elbow hurts.
Yeah.
Like you could be
Ronnie Dangerfield.
I love Rodney Dangerfield.
Al Chernick. Oh, my arm.
Yeah.
Oh, my other arm. It's like, and then someone else has to play for you in the match.
Yeah.
So no money is on the line.
No, I think it's softball. If
wait a minute, I'm getting
hurt.
more, and Matt says it is co-ed.
Yeah, then absolutely, they should be able to just bat. You shouldn't be charging out with that. Stop being a hardo. That's what I would say.
So there's no rules. So no rules softball.
Unless there are.
Well, it's not no rules, but if you're playing in a co-ed league and someone gets hurt, I'm not assessing that team an out.
Right. If somebody gets hurt, they get hurt. Now, the question is, were they actually hurt or not?
Yeah, what's the legitimacy of it?
But if that, did the person leave? Like, did he? I've seen a guy literally blow out his knee in a Sunday league before. You knew he was hurt.
Oh, yeah, then that's like.
That's
the thing.
But how are you going to argue somebody that says, I hurt my back? Did you really?
Can't. You can't. And then it's and the game's on the line.
These softball leagues, man.
Right. So that team, I don't think did anything wrong.
By the way, now I'm getting one on social media here. One of our listeners. Normal softball rules: bat out of order for any reason. It's an out.
Well, then maybe
normal softball rules: bat out of order for any reason. It's an out.
Right, but I'm telling you,
we got a George Brett situation.
I would let that
here.
go.
Yeah, it's time Pine Tar game.
Yeah, they're gonna have to try to see if they can get their league to change the ruling of the game.
I hate taking outs on injuries. I think it's dumb.
Oh, by the way, they did have a sub, but they claim they didn't have a sub.
Interesting.
Oh, well, now this is just the damn Zapruder film of softball. I don't know what's going on here.
Coming up next, we're less than a week away from training camp. John Kincade is wondering what the top 5 storylines that Andrew DeCecca will follow. If you have those at the ready,
I do.
We'll get those next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Phil's back in action tomorrow. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Wendy's. They have breakfast biscuits for just $1, including the Honey Buddy. Get yours today and start your day off right. Got to be Wendy's. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo while supplies last. With the MLB All-Star break nearly over, the Phils will be back in action tomorrow night against the Angels. That'll be here in South Philadelphia at the Bank, and it'll be Jesus Luzardo taking the ball. So your wait for Phillies baseball is almost over, folks. The Sixers, well, they took down the Mavericks 90-82 last night in Summer League play. Did so without VJ Edgecombe, who had a night off due to rest. He returned from his thumb injury on Tuesday night, so they wanted to be cautious with him. The Union took down CF Montreal 2-1 last night. They're in first place in the Eastern Conference, and the Eagles are getting closer to training camp, so we talked to Adam Schefter about how their training camp strategy has been playing off.
Listen, you can't argue with the results. They are the defending world champs. He knows what he's doing. He's got the extension to prove it. He's got the trophies to prove it, and they have the ring ceremony Friday this week.
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding, as Adam Schefter says. So we'll see what the Eagles have going on before training camp. And some sad Eagles news. Former linebacker Brian Brayman, who was part of the 2017 Super Bowl winning team, passed away at age 38 from brain cancer, we found out earlier this morning. Andrew DeCecco remains with us for the remainder of the show. This update is also brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas, and you're listening to the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Andrew DeCecco.
The player who I'm most interested in, and one who I believe is going to step in and
Now, back to the show.
It is 9:26 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. And we have Andrew DeCecco in studio for the remainder of the show today. We've been bouncing Eagles talk with obviously the Joel Embiid story that came out yesterday. Very well-written story by Dotan Akintoye on ESPN.com. Just taking you inside the life of Joel Embiid and, the struggles. And one of the things that, again, one of our questions was whether or not it actually moved you or not. We know how much his brother passing away really impacted his life. What we didn't know was the quote that came out in this story when he immediately blamed himself for the death of his brother.
Yeah, for not going over to see him before and stuff like that.
And that's something that he still holds on to. In the story, they mention you guys know me, I don't use my phone. I'm so bad with the phone, right? Like, you know how bad I am. But
you're the last phone call that I would ever make.
But it's just because I'm an old man and I don't care about my phone. Embiid's afraid to answer the phone sometimes because he's afraid to get bad news. That is something that has
a fear of
because he missed
a phobia.
The story tells you he missed multiple calls and then finally he answered almost like a what? Like why?
He ignores his phone.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it, and then finally he was like, "Why is everybody bothering me?"
And it's because his brother passed away. And that's something that will hang around his life forever. And that's why, again, I'm glad that he is seeking professional help. And, we'll see what it leads to on the basketball court. But this was a pretty good start for him and, the human element, because the first thing I said to you 2 years ago, John, was when he got hurt against the Warriors was, how is this guy going to keep going through
I remember you saying that. I remember that whole conversation.
It humanizes Joel Embiid, the person. And I think you have to put everything else aside and have some compassion and realize that everyone's dealing with internal strifes, and in this case, Joel Embiid has a lot of things that have been gnawing at him over his career. And now I thought that the writer did a really good job of pulling the curtain back and welcoming you into Joel Embiid's world.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Johnny, you want to know Andrew's top 5 storylines heading into camp?
Yeah, I want to go. If it just is that notebook, I want to. First of all, is it a new notebook heading into camp? Did you go buy a new one?
Oh, yeah. There's no sweat stains or anything like that.
New.
There's no smear days this time.
It's like a first day of school notebook.
Every year. Day 1,
I like that.
day 2, yeah.
Hardcover spiral.
Yeah, it's the old... the
70-page one?
Yeah, the black and white dots on the cover.
That. Oh, I love
composite.
that. No, it's got the hard.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
good.
Man. I like that.
I'm old school
already. I like
through.
that. All right, good. Okay, so I need to know if there was a. But the only thing is, though, I thought about this this morning after I talked, because last night I sort of said I don't want to ambush you with this on the air. Are you giving away anything by me asking you this? Because I don't want you to give away content ideas if someone else would be listening and steal them.
No, I mean, it's a lot of these are pretty standard storylines. It's just
I know you'll go in, you'll take your own angle on them, your own with everything. But
so
I'm very interested to see where you're going.
Well, the biggest question that I have going into this season, guys, is the pass rush, because a lot of it's based on projection. I happen to believe that Nolan Smith has double-digit sack ability, and we all know how I feel about Jalen Hunt. I think the arrow is very much trending up. But Jalen Hunt's a player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, solely because I talked to his trainer, Corey Clark, this offseason, knowing that Jalen had to put on weight, and he wanted to focus on strengthening his lower body, and he's throwing around weight that he wasn't coming close to last offseason.
Okay.
All of those signs are very promising. He's getting ready to handle a much more sizable workload. But I want to see how that translates going against Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, because there were flashes last summer, and I think you saw last season that this was not a player who came into this with expectation to be a redshirt player.
Yeah.
He came here to play, and he came here to make an impact, and he did. And so I want to see if there's a carryover, because he looked really good in the spring for what it's worth.
Didn't Nolan Smith gain like 15 pounds of muscle?
No, it was like 7 or 8 pounds.
7 or 8 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking of Scott Kingery, who gained like 20 pounds of muscle. Remember that?
I saw Lenny Dykstra put on 30.
Yes, you did. All right, so pass rush. I like that. What else we got?
Jahan Dotson, because I thought Jahan Dotson last season, 19
Football
catches
guy.
on 33 targets, was a little bit underutilized. And I'm not suggesting that he's going to eat into AJ's targets or Devontae's targets or Dallas Goedert's targets, but I think there's a way where you can use him as a vertical slot. You can get him on the move a little bit, allow him to take advantage of his run after the catch ability, because those are elements that he can bring to the table that last season he was just sort of kind of shoehorned into the offense, didn't have that full offseason. He joined the team 2 weeks before the Eagles went to Brazil. But, I mean, you listen to the interview that he had with Brennan Gunn, how critical a full offseason is. And even later in the season, you saw that he was able to establish that kind of trust. Now I'm curious to see how Kevin Patullo utilizes him within his offense, because they could open things up a little bit more.
If you remember, I said, I think Connor was doing afternoons at the time, if I'm not mistaken. That
Was I texting you or not?
No, you weren't texting.
Then I was doing afternoons.
No, you forgot us all.
That I expected more from Jahan Dotson this year. Because of what Andrew just said, the 2 weeks before camp.
Here's what I would ask all of you, though.
Uh-huh.
Y'all wanted to go overs on everybody.
Yeah.
So where's Jahan Dotson's targets come from? Because then, or do you expect Saquon's numbers to be way down?
I expect Saquon's numbers to be down. That's where
down,
I'm
have to be
down,
way down.
but not way down drastically. A 1,500-yard season.
Okay.
Yeah, but remember, that's down 500-plus yards.
Yeah, but that's still a better season than most running backs. That's still suggesting he's going to be heavily utilized.
Sure.
And here's what I said to you. Let me pull up Jahan Dotson's game logs last year. I didn't say all of a sudden he's going to be a 10-catch-a-game guy, but his targets, 1-1, 3-4, 3-1-0, 1-1, 2, 1-1, 2, 1-0-0, and then finally 11 in the Tanner McKee game in the final week of the season. 2 or 3 a game? Targets. Average 2 or 3 a game.
2? Why not? When you hear the word evolve, which was mentioned multiple times, that was the buzzword this spring. Those are certain things that to me would indicate that. Utilizing players differently. Dallas Goedert and the middle of the field have been criminally underutilized over the past several seasons. And I think Dallas Goedert, he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to work the seams, to get vertical. We all know how deadly and lethal he is on screens and things like that. But I think there's other ways that he can impact the offense, and that suggests, the evolution that they've been talking about.
All right. What else we got? We got a couple more minutes here.
Well, I would say Will Shipley. And the receiving element of the running backs, because they have players.
You love Will Shipley.
Well, I believe in the player first and foremost, and his ability to add a receiving prowess to the offense. And training camp's very tricky here, guys, because you have to be careful. The last couple of summers, we saw DeAndre Swift heavily involved in the receiving game. We saw Saquon Barkley heavily involved in the receiving game. Kenny Gainwell as well. He had a very good summer, but it didn't necessarily correlate to regular season output. But for me, I think Will Shipley does provide a different dimension. He has juice. When he catches the football, he turns upfield. That's something that he can bring as a change of pace option behind Saquon Barkley. But I want to see how it manifests during the preseason.
Okay. I like that. And, change it back. And plus, if we're saying Saquon Barkley's not going to be used as much, that's important.
I believe in the player. I believe in the person. He's going to have a good second year. I think he's my offensive breakout when you look at it.
All right.
That'd be nice.
Give us your last 2. I know you got 2 of them. We asked for 5.
Well, another obvious one on defense would be corner.
Yep.
Right? Because you had a player in Isaiah Rodgers who you could have plugged in, and you know that you have that starter opposite Quinyon Mitchell. But the Eagles really believe in Kelee Ringo. This is his 3rd season in Philadelphia. He has all of the athleticism you could look for. He's young. We talk about that a lot. And he's physical. The question that we're all going to have, and until we really see it manifest, we're not going to know. He can get a little handsy. He can get a little physical. But he did talk this offseason about honing in on his technique. And if he's able to do that, he should win that job running away over Dory Jackson. But he's going to have to go out there and prove it, because we've seen flashes before, and the Eagles are banking on him making that leap. So that's another critical one for me.
How are you going to see how do you see training camp evolving as far as the severity of it? Do you think it will be weaned off as it goes along? Do you think we will see harder in the beginning and then it eases off towards the end?
Yeah, I do. Well, there's always that acclimation period in the beginning.
Okay,
that ramp up, if you will.
Oh, don't say that.
And then you start to really, when the pads start popping, that's where the intensity rises and things start to ratchet up. And that's where, in that middle portion of camp, late July, early August, is where you're really going to get some good insight.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we got another segment left. We have some text messages. We have the key 3. Also, we have a new leader in viewership when it comes to sports. Kind of. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
I understand the frustration watching this baseball team, and I understand
Here, calls about the Joel Embiid story. What's up?
I had one thing I forgot to ask him about is Von Miller, now a Commander.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention that.
That's right. Yeah, they added the way that they've sort of crafted their offseason. One would think that they believe they're a step away.
Yeah,
and
that's the way.
It's an old team, man.
They're really sort of expediting their development here. What's interesting is I'm noticing a lot of folks ripping that signing, but Von Miller was a name that I think that if he signed with Philadelphia, a lot of folks would be singing, a different.
He'd get 7 or 8. I think he'd get 7 or 8 sacks here. If he signed here, I think he'd get 7 or 8 sacks.
I'm not putting a number on it, but
how many did he get last year?
Last year he had 6. The year before he had 0. So it's like
no, but you
have to look at
playing
the
with
snaps,
this surrounding cast too, though.
You have to look at the snaps and the opportunities too, John.
How many do you think he'd get here? 20 snaps?
I mean, Jalen Hunt played 241 regular season snaps, had a sack and a half. You know what I mean? Like you have to.
Yeah.
It's tough when you're not out there for the lion's share of the snaps,
especially with Fangio and the rotating of pieces. But we also knew that he would not be signed here because Howie Roseman has made it very clear that if there's any
culture,
culture matters, man.
That's a big part.
I'm surprised, but if there is one thing though they talk about is Dan Quinn. There's one thing I know about Dan. His locker room is going to be strong. He's going to have a strong culture in that locker room. I was surprised he's adding him.
Sure,
I was surprised. It's a little bit of a risk to me.
Well, you do that if you believe in the culture and the leadership council on your team to make sure that everybody sort of falls in line and operates the same.
Is he still trying to build something? Is that Von Miller?
Yes.
Von Miller's the gassy one, right?
And the one who charged everybody invited everybody to his birthday party
yeah, that was weird.
And then gave them a bill.
Got chickens, right? That's all I know about Von Miller.
Do you not remember the gas thing?
No, what did he do? He farted?
He has like a gas problem.
No, it's bad gas problem.
Yeah.
Like in meeting rooms
next
and
generation
stuff.
stink.
Like bad. No, at least stink. It's just his clothes on game day to the opponents.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah, no, look it up. I remember he was on Dancing with the Stars, and the girl that he was dancing with, she was like...
He cut a gasser?
No,
all the time.
Dude, constant.
No, he has a bad lactose intolerance.
And then a doctor told him that if you're trying to hold it in, that's bad for your health, so he just lets it rip.
Good for him, man. Stand on it.
Not in the meeting rooms.
Well, whatever, man. It's bad for you to hold it in, I guess.
That's a good point.
If you're lactose intolerant, what are you supposed to do?
Real quick.
Intolerant to everything.
We have a new leader in viewership.
What's that?
When it comes to the All-Star games. So the numbers came out for the Major League All-Star game. Another rise in viewership.
From what?
Not high, but compared to their counterparts. NHL obviously doesn't have an All-Star game. The Pro Bowl, which is a joke, averaged 4.7 million viewers. The NBA, which has become a joke, 4.7 million viewers. MLB at 7.2.
That's good.
So higher.
Well, it's the only legit game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I like it. Like,
the Players Association in the NFL punted on the Pro Bowl, and they should.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl's
and they should have.
Pro Bowl's
to have the Pro Bowl first off, you can't have an NFL All-Star game. You just can't. It was a stupid concept to begin with. You just can't say, at the end of the year, hey guys, one more time.
Yeah,
for nothing.
Strap up. Yeah,
for nothing.
All right, let's go to my man Stan in Drexel Hill, who wants to talk about the Embiid story. What's up, Stan?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up,
Hi, Stan.
Hey, Stan. Good morning.
Hey, John, I kind of disagree with you, man.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a wild take from you, actually. And the reason
what is a wild take?
So when I see that you said that it being an ESPN piece, it seems very one-sided. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's kind of about time. I mean, in the 10 years Embiid has been here, every piece that we've gotten on him, honestly, has been fairly negative. Whether it's because of the injuries or because of other, little shenanigans or whatever like that. I mean, whether you want to call it good PR or not, I think it's about damn time, personally. I think this has given us a better look into not Joel the player, but Joel the person. Like, even by the way they describe it, how he's filling out the interviewer because he doesn't know the guy like that. He first time meeting him and everything like that, all these different situations and all that. And I'm like, that makes me look at him more as a person than just worrying about what's going on the court. Yeah, I know about the injuries and it all sucks and all that, but to look at him as a person, as a human being, I think was the point
Well, then you're not. Then you're not disagreeing with me then, because if you did, then you're taking a clip and you're not listening to what I said on the show. Because I agree with you on it. Did give me great perspective. I thought it was a great read. I thought it was really, really interesting. My point is that there is a lot in there where he is just speaking and nothing is refuted. Like last year, where he's blaming the Sixers about his injury and how they handled his injury. But nothing is given to the Sixers about, hey, Joel, you went and played in the Olympics last summer. Did they ask you to play? Did they ask you not to? Did they tell you not to? Was that a smart thing to do?
Now, but that's what I was going to say, too, because you're making a point about that. That's true. But we saw the Spurs come out basically and tell Kawhi, you're not playing.
They did.
Because Kawhi Leonard was on that team. So why didn't if the Sixers felt some type of way, that's on them to tell him, yo, you're not playing.
Or they don't. But Stan,
shut it down.
But Stan, listen,
they can't shut him down.
They can't shut him down. You cannot shut someone down.
Because that was an off season.
They do not have the ability to tell a player, you are not doing this. Joel had to do that. Joel chose to do what he wanted to do. So if you listen to the whole show today, and I know you probably didn't, because you're allowed to.
No,
I'm very complimentary of a lot of it. And it definitely moved me on a lot of things with Joel. And I am not negative on a lot of things about him.
And thanks for the call, Stan.
But I think there's not a lot of accountability there. And when he says even to the reporter, they're still talking about all that old stuff. Yeah, because when you write somebody's story, it involves you answering the good stuff, the bad stuff, those things. You got to talk about it all. And so to me, that was a feature piece. It was a great piece, by the way. It really was. Well, I don't know the writer, but I found his work to be really, really good. That was a well-written piece.
I thought it was an incredibly compelling piece. And from one writer to another, I mean, hats off to him. That was well done.
And you're a writer. You understand. You write these things. You love features. You love writing them more than anything.
Yeah.
And he wrote it. That is a fantastic
because
feature.
It's so important to me to humanize and really pull the curtain back on who they are as a person that leads to who they are as a player.
And when I made
shapes them.
And when I made the point is, I said, look, that's a great feature, and I loved reading it. But if it was a journalistic piece, all the things that he said would be given an opportunity to be challenged as far as then hearing from the other side of it. That's all I said.
It's been a fun show today.
It has been.
And we will continue it here with the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3, today's best.
What a day yesterday was, John. The big bombshell, well-written story of Joel Embiid on ESPN.com. We were talking about it before the show started. There was some stuff that we already know from our work, right? We do this every single day. We know a lot of the story of Joel Embiid since the time he got drafted. But this story goes back to his childhood. This story goes back to his college days, the beginning of the career, and then, of course, maybe most importantly, the here and now and all the drama that is surrounding the Philadelphia 76ers, as we know all too well. First and foremost, I want to go around the room and just sort of ask if this story moved you at all. And I know when it comes to Joel Embiid, I feel about Joel Embiid a lot differently than you do, John. I think everybody, when it comes to Joel Embiid, has a different sort of opinion or feeling.
Did the story move me? Yeah, it moves me. Look, I put it this way. You went back and reread it.
Yes.
The way I did it was I just took notes.
Okay.
When I read it, I clipped and stuff and took notes and everything. And did it move me? Sure. People live lives that are filled with hardship. People live lives that are filled with adversity. I think I know it. I think Embiid knows it. I think everybody in our listening audience knows it. Yes. I heard other people say, bombshell story. I knew almost every single part of that story. Almost every part of it. So it didn't move me there. I feel sorry for the things of Joel Embiid's life that he couldn't control.
Right.
But I feel sorry for everybody in life has to deal with things that they can't control.
When you were out 2 weeks ago, Connor and I got into a discussion of the polarizing figures in Philadelphia right now. And there really aren't many, but Joel Embiid is one of those guys where I could turn on a microphone and talk about for 4 hours. We said that it was Embiid, Jalen, Harper, and Nola, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the 4 names that we thought of because there are some people on the defending side, some people on the anti side, and there's really no middle ground, it seems like, with those players.
I would tell you, if you find Jalen and Harper as polarizing figures, I'd really not prefer to talk sports with myself.
You don't think Jalen Hurts has 2 sides of the coin?
No, but if you put Jalen Hurts into a polarizing figure category, then for God's sakes, I'm looking at you with glazed over like, okay, you're not really a sportsman. If you definitely don't think Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing going, or if you're one of the people who thinks Jalen Hurts is the greatest thing on earth or Jalen Hurts sucks, I don't really think either one of you has a valid opinion. I think it's somewhere in the middle.
But you know that's how it goes.
But polarizing to me is where you go, somebody has negative, is bringing negatives to the table.
Yeah, people do that on Hurts all the time.
People find negatives with Hurts, John. You and I are very few people in this world that live by the middle. It's the extreme side, it's the extreme other.
Well, the funny thing is that I just like to live in the world of facts. Like, to me, I don't find those guys polarizing because Hurts is great, Harper's great. Embiid.
You just talked about how Harper hasn't come up clutch in the last 7 important games, though.
No,
right? We just had that discussion earlier this week.
But you're then taking it out of context. You're not bringing up the fact that I also celebrate all the times that he has come up big
but
in
there
the
are
clutch.
things to not celebrate, and that's what makes him so polarizing.
I got you, but
he's the big name of the Phillies that have been a team that have controlled.
But Embiid has never had Harper moments or Hurts moments.
So I'm just happy that it's known that he is seeing help because going through everything that he's gone through physically and then also the life, if he needs help and he's seeking help, I think that's great.
I think his team picked the writer.
Oh, probably.
I think his team wanted a piece written. Now I wonder why.
What's up, Johnny?
Can I ask Andrew the question because it's something that we debated earlier in the show, real quickly. Do you believe? I believe that Embiid has not had Harper, Hurts moments in this town.
Disagree.
Do you believe? Okay, you believe he has.
Yes.
What are his Harper Hurts moments? Because when I think Harper moment, I think bet them in the bank, send them to a World Series. Hurts moments, I think win a World Series, win a Super Bowl, send him to a Super Bowl, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's had moments in the postseason. He also scored 70 points in a game.
Okay, yeah, regular season. I don't think of it as regular season the same.
No, he's done a lot. It's easy to kind of cast that aside. I understand where you're coming from because of, injuries and things like that. But let's not lose sight of this is a generational talent, and he's had many moments here in Philadelphia, and I think that it should be acknowledged.
I think the problem is the disappearing acts outweighs maybe for John and for many other people because Game 6, Game 7, Celtics, the way it ended with the Hawks, and it makes us forget about some of the Raptors moments where that series went 7.
That was a tough series.
Game 3, last shot.
Right.
That might be, but the thing is that
the Knicks
when the series ends,
50 points, the Heat when they're down 2-0 and he comes back with the mask and wills them back to a 2-2.
You always remember the mask.
That's a 2-game moment where they're down 2-0 and he's coming back with a fractured face.
Fractured face, working through the Bell's palsy.
I gave him all the credit in the world for that. I'm just saying is that to me it has to be. You did something. To have those moments, it has to be something.
I mean, I'm always going to remember the resilience. I mean, he fought through a lot.
You got resilience today, don't you?
I'd like to think I do.
You're on this afternoon.
That's right.
What time?
2 to 6.
2 to 6.
Me and Billy C. We're going to hold it down.
Hey, 975thefanatic.com/AACR. That's how you can make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. FT Young Heating and Air Conditioning did that. You can do it too.
Great job. Andrew, thank you as always for coming in. The Mike Missanelli show is coming up next. I wonder what Mike's going to be talking about today.
I wonder.
Tune in at 10 to find out. We'll be back at